getting dicey.
Sorry, that wasn't a very welcoming way of saying it either. Anyway, okay, sorry, let's...
I do like how you got the cowl on.
I got it like just in time. Whoosh! Yes. Okay, good. I'm just going to start the recording of Zencaster now. Otherwise, that would have been very embarrassing. Okay, and I've got a new face for Irina as well. The one that we had last week, I think it was pretty bad. I found something that was a bit more indicative.
Pretty tough. I don't know.
And that was my problem with it. She looked a little too tough, and she was described.
Yeah.
She was described as a very like stunningly attractive girl, and she just kind of had like this weird distorted face and a little mouth. So okay, so she is gonna have a little. She is gonna have like a little mustache. I mean, that's going to be the biggest problem.
Okay.
That's fine.
So
we're not nitpicking here, but
so
okay.
she's stunning if it wasn't for that mustache. Yeah.
Just that one thing, right? What's that one thing?
Like, okay, I mean, women are allowed mustaches. I'm not going to take that. If people want to have mustaches, that's fine. But
Very kind of you.
Irina definitely has one.
Very continental.
How kind of you to allow.
As is the style in Barovia, I hear.
She's been growing it for a long time.
Okay. So, Baron, you're heading for that door, and Irina just darts out in front of you with her arms out to the side, and she says, "Stop right there!" and looks over your shoulder towards Ismark, and says, "Who have you brought in here? Who is this?"
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Brintel Byram, and we've been invited in by your brother.
Shh! You shush! Ismark, who are these people? Okay, sorry. So I probably should have done a little bit of introduction before we came in. These are the people that I am hoping will help deliver you away from Barovia. Not. What do you mean? What do you leave Barovia? Yes. Well, we can't risk Strahd showing up all the time. This is not something. This is anyway. Baron, what are you wanting? What are you wanting to do in there?
I just spotted the coffin. Is that your dad that you were talking about?
And Irina looks back at you. You heard about my father?
Yes. Is he the burgomaster?
And she sort of brings her hands down by her side. Yes, yeah, my father, the burgomaster of Barovia. Yes. How has Ismark told you about my father?
Well, we found a letter on the way here, and it mentioned you and him, and told everyone to leave. I didn't expect him to be dead.
Yes, well, the attacks on the house, they lasted for days and days, and he just couldn't handle the stress and had a heart attack 3 days ago.
A heart attack? I knew it would have been a heart attack from all the burgers. Not to be indelicate, but Ismark did mention that your father was starting to, I don't know how to put this nicely, smell really badly. So I can do something about that.
Well, we're trying to hide it with flowers and scents. But what do you plan on doing?
I've just got a little magic spell, and it will stop him from decaying.
Okay. She's kind of curious by this and takes a couple of steps back and looks over to Ismark, and Ismark just gives her a nod back. And you've got access to this room now.
Great, I'm going to nod at Ismark and just squeeze past, excuse me, and I'm just going to light a cigarette, and I'm going to start waving my cigarette around, and I'm going to it's a ritual.
I think you're just going to try and hide the scent using like cigarette smoke.
I'm not wasting a spell slot on this.
Yeah. That'll help.
Yeah, it's a clove cigarette, maybe.
Yeah.
It's called what the fuck is it called? Gentle Repose.
Gentle repose.
Oh yeah, nice.
Rothman's 25.
So what
Nice.
Goals.
tell
Be
us
an
about
age,
gentle
mate, come on.
repose?
What does it do?
Yeah.
Okay, so I touch a corpse or other remains. Oh, I'm going to open it. I have to open it up. Was it an open casket or?
It was closed. They were trying to hide the scent, obviously, and so they've closed that. But you open it up
Yep.
to reveal, and he's wearing amazing. They've dressed him up beautifully, and he's just got this big full beard. He's a rather big guy, balding, and he looks at peace. But he is like, as soon as you open it, you get a big and there's a lot of like flowers scattered out, like petals and flowers scattered over him. Yeah, and you can smell a little bit of that scent, but it's mainly the decaying smell that you can smell.
Okay, I'm going to say you've done a lovely job. So here's my spell: is you touch a corpse for the duration. The target is protected from decay and can't become undead.
Can't become
Spell
undead.
also. Yeah, spell also effectively extends the time limit on raising the target from the dead, since days spent under the influence of the spell don't count against the time limit of spells such as Raise Dead.
All right, cool. And that lasts 10 days. Oh, nice.
Yep.
So
I did it to Gundren the dwarf.
Oh, that's right. That's right. American?
So it won't restore he won't stop smelling. He just won't smell any worse from now on. Yeah.
I don't know. He's protected from decay. I'd say like whatever smell he was doing from now on, it would stop. Getting, so maybe that smell wafts away. Shouldn't be producing more stink.
Yeah. And I think, so how long does that take you?
It takes me 10 minutes to do a ritual. So.
All right. So while you're doing this ritual, Irina moves over to Ismark and the rest of you, and she says, I'm not going to leave Barovia until Father's buried. And Ismark and Irina have this little sort of back and forth. He's talking about the importance of leaving Barovia because they don't know when Strahd's going to return, and Irina saying, "Look, we haven't had anyone or any attacks on the house for the last 3 days. Why would there be any more attacks now?" And there's a bit of a heated back and forth happening in front of Bill and Morley, American, and Loris. Is there any kind of interjection from those watching, or any questions they might have? Morley?
Yeah, I'd like to kind of just step forward and try and turn on a bit of the old captain's charm here on Irina and say, if I may interject for just a moment, just because things seem to have quietened down or settled down, that's no reason to be complacent.
And you are?
And I take my head off at this point and kind of hold it out to my side and say, Captain Morley Van Morgan, at your service.
Well, Morley, I understand that you obviously have a wide knowledge of what's going on here, but I would quite prefer to have my father resting in his rightful place before I even contemplate leaving here.
Over to you, Ismark. I tried my best.
And Ismark is kind of tight-lipped at this point, and Irina continues talking to you. If you can help deliver my father's body to the graveyard, to the church for a proper burial, then fine. You can take me from Barovia. But, and she turns to Ismark. But Ismark, I'm not going to leave here with father just in the house. And she returns her sort of focus back to you, Morley, and says, no one in Barovia has the guts to help my brother deliver my father to the graveyard. That's why we still have him here.
My only interest, my lady, lies in keeping you safe. But I assure you, I'm no gutless wonder.
Bill?
How long has your father been here?
He passed 3 days ago.
I see.
And look, I know what your friend in there is doing supposedly will help him for a bit longer, help stop the decay, but my God, it's my father. I just need to see him rest in peace.
I think we can all appreciate that.
And Ismark speaks up. Well, Irina, maybe we can wait until morning and go see Father Donovich at the church. What do you think, Molly? Will you and maybe a few of the others help me bring my father's coffin to the church?
Well, I'd be interested in helping you out of your predicament the best way we can.
I have a question.
Yes, American.
Why are all the villagers too afraid to deliver a man's body to the grave? Surely that should be something they can all help with. He was their honored leader, wasn't he?
With all of the attacks we've had around Barovia from the werewolves and bats and they're just people are afraid to leave their houses.
Oh, how awful.
No one said anything about werewolves.
Well, yes, it's
Molly leaves the party.
The brave man that he is. You know, I'm not a coward, he says.
I'm out of here.
yeah, Molly. You remember that the outside of the house was just covered in scratches, and Ismark says, "Yes, we've had just so many werewolves attacks, even just specifically here to try and get to Irina. Strahd is doing everything he can to get Irina, and it's scared the entirety of the village. It's been like this for a long time, but the attacks on the house sort of hit a peak the day that my father died, and it's been a relatively quiet since." Bill.
Can I just ask how you managed to hold off these creatures?
And Ismark just points to all of the boarded up windows. We've just been making sure that during the day, that we board the place up, reinforce anything that is starting to show any kind of weakness, and just hope and pray that we get through the night.
Do the attacks mostly come in the day? Sorry, Bill.
No, the attacks mainly at night, but try and make the villagers, the population of this city believe that. They think if they are going to attack at night, then they'll may well come in during the day. And so here I am, stuck with my father in a box built by Irina and myself, in the hopes it's just we could convince anyone to help, really.
How sturdy? How's the construction of that box looking?
It's pretty decent. It's pretty decent for something that's been put together by these two. It's not like an elegant, polished coffin. It is very much just like bits of wood hammered together, but hammered together nicely. There's no like big proper like coffin style shape to it. It is very much a box with a lid, a long box with a lid.
Cardboard box.
Your carpentry's clearly come a long way with all these barricades and things. That box looks mighty sturdy. You've done the best given your given the circumstances.
Morley's just going to put his head in his hands, wondering why Bill's chosen to make an example of the coffin.
Yeah, it's just like, what? Bill, no. And American just stepped forward and she's like,
They brought it up. They brought up the fact that they made the coffin themselves.
In a passing remark. Oh, you can see that you've done the best you can, given the circumstances.
I'm going to judge them.
It was a compliment. It was a compliment.
What if it was bad?
Yeah, Baron learned that last week with the this place looks nice, as I detail like the horrific nature of this house that they're living in.
That's why I asked and then listened to the
Nice,
answer.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I'm going to.
I think. Oh, sorry, Joe.
Oh, carry on.
I was just going to say, I think Loris would help you go to the church.
I don't like churches.
I'm going to step
I
on
can
and
guard.
say,
I can smash something if there's a
You don't
problem.
have to
But
like churches to help them go to the church.
Look
I'm
at
going
you
to
said.
Loris.
wait, sorry, what? You want me to be the muscle? Okay, that's cool.
I'm happy to just lend a hand in your time of need. We can handle ourselves. I don't know if you know this, but we recently fought a giant pile of excrement, so I think we can handle this.
I think Irina just has like this really confused look on her face when you mention that. A giant pile of excrement.
It's a whole
Yeah,
lot scarier than it sounds.
In that house, that
Hey.
that crazy house, where the travelers start out. That's where we were.
Where the mission begun.
Where the D&D party
people-
spawned.
Where yeah,
Reagan,
where
don't
the
you
parties
remember?
seem to spawn and then most of them die, but we didn't die. We made it out.
Yeah, and just
you know,
like
the house that your brother told us about.
yeah, I think she becomes just as impressed as Ismark was when he first heard as well, and she's just looking at her brother with quite a surprised look on her face, and then looks back at Bill and says, "Okay, well, yes, then I will go with you tomorrow. Yeah, okay, but please, we either deliver my father tonight or first thing in the morning. I'm sure what your friend is doing in that room can at least hold him over to the morning if you'd prefer."
That would be a good idea.
Okay.
I might suggest to my friends here, the morning might be the more prudent option.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I think, Baron, you've probably just wrapped up this spell now, this ritual.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm just going to have another cigarette.
Just a regular one that time.
Okay, cool. And so is there anything you guys wanted to ask them before sort of calling in for the night, or is that it?
Where are we sleeping?
Yeah, I can show you to the rooms if you guys are ready to call it a night.
Is there anything that needs barricading up before we bed down?
We haven't really had any attacks for the last 3 nights, so everything seems to be in order. But thank you for the offer.
Bill, you must be dying to show off your superior carpentry skills, I imagine.
I don't think I could do. I don't think I could hold a patch to what Irina and Ismark here have done.
All right,
but
Bill.
I
More of a
do
critic.
know that trouble tends to follow us around, and I just would feel a lot more comfortable if we had barricaded every possible spot we could.
I mean, you're welcome to have a look, but like I said, we've been barricading them up pretty solidly for the last few weeks, and they haven't been touched for the last 3 nights. But you're welcome to take a quick look around the perimeter if you need.
I'll take your word for it as the expert in these matters.
Okay, well, let me show you 2 rooms. I think if you follow me upstairs, you'll be able to. I'm sure we can make you all comfortable. And Ismark leads you up this beautiful winding staircase to the 2nd floor, and there are way more bedrooms for like what seems like a small house and just a few people. It looks like normally they would have housed maybe servants and stuff at one point, but they seem to be relatively empty now. And each of you are just shown to a bedroom of your own, and they've all got Beautiful, decent-sized beds. Loris, they don't have any your size,
Oh,
unfortunately.
I hate it when my ankles are off the bed.
Yeah.
Damn it, come on. All I asked for is an extra long bed.
Yeah. Sorry, big guy. We're not used to folk your size around here, to be honest.
No
He
one
actually,
is.
he actually looks a little impressed, just with the height. Every time he talks to you and he looks up at you, there's a bit of like, he's impressed with the size and the muscle mass you've got. And he just shows you to the room and carries on and makes sure everyone is seen to. Then him and Irina, they meet again downstairs and they're just sort of like talking together for a little bit before making their way off to each of their own bedrooms. So how would you like to spend the night? Is there anything like, I think, American, you need to attune yourself to your cloak?
Yes, I get a shiny cloak.
The cloak of protection, is it? So you only need 4 hours to get a full night's sleep. So you can spend an hour of that just attuning yourself to the cloak. Anyone else?
I want to read this these black books that I found about
the cult.
Yeah, about the cult.
The cult. I can't remember the cult of
I had it just a minute ago.
Cybus. Okay, yeah, cool. I think you'll spend the first hour before sort of nodding off, going through these books, and after you like every single page you turn, you're kind of just rolling your eyes at the ridiculous nature of some of these like so-called rituals and so-called spells that are written in this book, and they're clearly just absolute nonsense. None of this is grounded in any reality whatsoever, and you sort of get through 3/4 of the first book before realizing this cult was just insane. They were just led by someone completely insane with absolutely insane ideals for what a cult and what spells and rituals should be. A lot of them just involved just killing people, torturing people and killing them in the hopes to appease a devil. But you with your knowledge of stuff, it doesn't take you long before you realize it's just garbage.
Not effective.
Not effective at all. Yeah. Anyone else? Bill?
I'm just gonna spend some time looking over those trinkets I hurriedly grabbed as we exited the house.
Yeah, right. So what trinkets did you end up grabbing? You grabbed 5 trinkets, right?
I have 5 trinkets.
Mm-hmm.
I have an iron pendant adorned with a devil's face, a knife carved from human bone, a hag's severed finger, a 6-inch tall wooden figurine of a mummy with its arms crossed over its chest, and a folded cloak made from stitched ghoul skin.
Yeah, okay, cool. And I'd say you spend a little bit of time sort of looking at all of these individually. And they're all like what they sound like. There's nothing kind of magical to them. They're just garbage that may have been pilfered off people that had been murdered or sacrificed by this cult. I think you sort of come to the same conclusion, but in a separate over a separate thing. Well, the barons realize that the cult's garbage because of the way that they do their rituals and their spells. You're just looking at these garbage trinkets and how they've just got no value whatsoever, and that the reason they were taken off people and was purely because they were on the person that was murdered, and there's nothing else really to them. Yeah.
I see. I'm going to tuck them away for later.
Okay, cool. Morley, anything that you wanted to get done before calling it a night?
No, I'm absolutely shattered. I'm going to sort of just take my weaponry off, lay it down, and get a good night's kip.
Yeah, cool. How about you, Loris?
Loris has been asleep while you guys have been battling about. He found his bed and that was it.
Yep, perfect. Okay, great. You guys wake in the morning And you could barely tell it's the morning. You're used to, it feels like you've had a good 8 hours sleep. And I think a couple of you look out between the cracks in some of the boards to sort of check what time it is. And while it looks like there's a sort of a morning glow to the clouds above, there's really not much light coming through from the sky above. It's just thick, dark clouds covering the sky. And each of you sort of move out of the bedrooms and congregate downstairs with Ismark and Irina. Good morning. Good sleep, I hope.
I'm gonna stride down the stairs, like conspicuously, like swishing the hem of my cloak around, my new cloak, and just like, oh.
What do we have here? That cloak looks amazing.
This whole thing? Oh, stop.
Did you guys bring luggage? Did you manage to bring luggage along with you? Okay. I didn't see any on you, but that's fine. That's great. I think you're going to need... Oh, sorry, yeah?
No, you go.
No, please take on it.
I was imagining Morley would kind of stride down the stairs next, kind of looking at his sword. He's perhaps given it a slight oiling just before descending the staircase, ready for action today. And just kind of placing it back in his scabbard just as he's kind of descending this.
So wait, Morley spent the evening oiling his sword.
Just the morning, just a quick oil in the morning.
Just a quick one.
Just a quickie this morning, yeah.
Have you? Sorry, I'm going to stop there before
it's
I
right
get
back in the
myself
scabbard now, so you don't need to dwell.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think if you don't mind, yeah, American. Sorry, I was just almost interrupted you there, didn't I? Carry on.
Actually, you interrupted Joe. I was just going to say I've got one thing that I want to do every long rest, and I want to roll a d4 and see what season I end up in.
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah, a bit of random.
4 d4s?
Oh, 4 d4s? No.
Take your pick.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
I'm
just take your
rolling
pick.
Two.
One. I'm all seasons at once today.
Okay.
Oh God.
So what's a roll of 2 do for Americans?
A roll of 2. It is autumn.
And what does that mean? What sort of attitude does that associate? Does American associate with autumn?
It's the kindest, warmest demeanor.
I think that goes well with the flowing of the cloak as you sort of sashay down the stairs.
Yes, looking auburn and flushed.
Yeah, perfect. So make sure you guys, obviously a long rest means all of your spell slots have been regained, your hit points are maxed out, and you can regain some hit dice as well, so if you want to get all that sorted in D&D Beyond.
I think I would have shown up quite late as possible. Once I heard everyone waking up, and I would have just descended the stairs quite seedy because I've drunk the entire cask of wine.
Yeah, okay.
Last night.
Share it.
Okay, I think the majority of you are sort of standing in the hall talking for a while. You guys have been discussing who's gonna be carrying the coffin with Ismark, and the Baron. There's some noise from upstairs, and there's just like the Baron standing at the top of the stairs, feeling a little lightheaded, a little headachy, and he's just gingerly taking steps down the stairwell.
I'm assuming the Baron won't be carrying the cask.
I'm going to call out, Brian! Good morning, Brian!
That voice. Oh dear.
So who is helping carry the casket, and are you all heading to the church?
Lawrence will take whatever the heavy end is.
Okay. Yep.
I don't know how these things work.
Yeah. You might have to carry it quite low, and everyone else will have to carry it up high, I think. So just to make sure that it's...
I could probably carry it by myself, to be fair, but...
Yeah, you carry the whole
I'll
thing.
do that thing where like you hold on to it and you're kind of bearing a little bit of weight, but you're
It's just-
kind of letting everyone else take the load mainly.
Your hand's just on the side. It's
On
not
the side.
helping. Yeah.
I'll literally carry it on my. Well, maybe if I do shoulder, Erin will be like reaching up. So maybe I'll just carry it under my arm. You know.
That's lacking in dignity for the dead, Laura.
Yeah.
Let us help you.
You want me to
So
carry it or
on
not? Fine, I'll put it over my shoulder then. Is that right? Yeah, just like that. It's a how big is this thing?
Well,
It's
it
actually
is.
how I.
It's quite traditional to be carried by 4 people. 2 at the front, 2 at the back. If that's, we try
Fine.
to keep the traditions alive here.
Sure.
Do
Loris
Good.
do you and Irina want to have a hand, Ismark? Do you want to be involved?
I'm not stepping foot outside. Just for my safety. I need to make sure that with Strahd around, who knows?
We'll keep you safe, little lady.
I'm not putting that trust. I'll be there for the funeral, but I'm not going to be there for the delivery.
Well, does
That's your
someone
call.
need to stay back with her?
Are we going to
Make
go
sure
there,
she's
come
safe.
back, and then get her? What do you think, American?
We shouldn't leave her alone.
Look, the place is barricaded. And the door will be locked and restrained, and it's fine. I was here all of yesterday, and all of the day before, just fine. So don't worry about
Okay.
me. I can handle myself.
Irina, I'd like to volunteer to stay guard at the door, outside. You be inside, I'll stay outside.
Morley, I know you mean well, but like I said, I handled myself just fine yesterday. If I'm not going to stop you, but I just don't want you to think that I need this kind of assistance. And Ismark just kind of laughs. Ismark laughs, looks over to Morley, just kind of like, okay.
I'm gonna sort of cast a glance back Ismark's way and go, sounds like she's fine to make her own way up north at this rate. Ismark.
Well, she doesn't even really want to go, but we've convinced her. Let's not push our luck.
Alec?
All right.
What do you want to do, Ismark? Are you gonna stay here? Are you gonna come with?
No, I'll introduce you to Father Donovich and help carry the casket towards the church. Irina will be fine. Don't worry about her.
Mm-hmm.
I only worry about her when we're outside of the house and at night time. I know that Strahd's not going to be making an appearance during the day, but I can't say the same for any of his servants.
I'm just gonna lean over to the Baron and just say, and maybe American too, and just say, either of you got any who's it's what's to alert us if anything untoward starts to happen here?
I thought you were saying because it's 4:20.
Who's this? What's it? Yeah.
To alert what?
To let us know if something happens back at the house while we're out,
Oh,
like a spell or a trap or something.
I have a spell that if I stayed back, I could alert you with a very, very loud, thunderous boom.
well, we could give her a bell or something. But no, I don't
It
have any
doesn't
spells.
carry as well as a thunderclap, but good thinking.
But we could let she can't do a thunderclap. I think.
I could stay back, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
American's staying back and chatting and getting to know. Fuck, I've forgotten her name. I wasn't really paying that much
That's
attention
good.
to it.
Oh, that's
Irina.
good. Thanks.
I was, but it lost it. Sorry.
No, it
but-
makes putting all the effort I do really worthwhile. That's
I know the name. Whatever. I'm not going to explain it. I just.
With you being in character and that Laura's didn't remember. Fine.
Yeah, American staying back is a good idea. You know, could learn a bit more about Barovia and what's going on in the town. There's 4 of us plus Ismark. You know, we can all sort of look after the body.
look, if Irina wants to stay here, it's her house. I mean, we'll have plenty of time to look after her later on.
Perhaps she will feel safer left to her own devices rather than these people she's only just met. myself included, hanging around like a bad smell.
Pirate. Yeah.
I like a dead. Did she have? Does she have a scarf on?
No, she doesn't have a scarf.
Does she have puncture wounds on her neck?
Yeah. She's got 4 small scars on her neck.
Oh.
Can
I ask?
And she sees you looking towards her neck and just kind of puts one hand over the scars.
Irina, I've heard you've been visited by Strahd. Did you get a look at him?
Ismark. She sort of like throws Ismark's name back at him for a moment, and Ismark says, "I had to tell them everything. It was in the letter, for crying out loud, Irina."
Mm-hmm.
And Irina turns back to you and says, I know it's happened, but I don't have any real memories of it, if that makes any sense. It's all a haze. I just remember the hunger in his eyes and nothing,
like a wolf,
and nothing else. Yes, he's kind of like a hungry beast. That's all I really remember. Everything becomes kind of foggy when I try to think of it.
So you were in the house when that happened. Is that before you barricaded?
I don't even know where I was at the time. I don't believe I was in the house.
Okay.
Ismark? And Ismark kind of just shrugs. I found her like lying in the hall here both times.
Mm-hmm.
Bite marks in her neck and bleeding.
Can I get a closer look at those bite marks?
And she's got her hand got her hand over her on her neck. It's like, why? What are you trying to find out?
I'm trying to find out what kind of creature it is that bit you. You know, what kind of creature Strahd is.
Well, he's a vampire.
I know that, but I don't know about vampires. I've never been. I want to see how big their fangs are, how big his mouth is.
Yeah, I think you slowly
nosy now, Brian.
I think you slowly are approaching Irina as you're saying this. Can you give me like a persuasion roll?
Persuasion. Okay. Let's see what my charisma is there. This is 0, so 13.
Okay, cool. I think that's enough. You move towards her as you're saying that, and she's looking at you and just slowly removes her hand from her neck and sort of opens up her neck to you. And you get a look at these.
Yeah, don't do that.
Only joking.
No.
Yeah, and you take a close look. Can you give me like a medicine roll?
Okay, medicine. That's a 0 as well. Not investigation. An 8.
What is your investigation modifier?
+7.
Okay, we'll go with that. The holes, they're not fully closed over, but they look to have scarred quite deep. It looks like whatever punctured them, and you've been told they were someone's teeth. The teeth themselves would have to be a good centimeter longer than the rest of the teeth, because there's no other real bite marks, just these 2 puncture wounds twice, the same sort of distance apart. So it looks like 2 sets of puncture wounds.
And they were done on separate times.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
2 different. Okay. And they're healing?
Yes, yeah, they're healing.
Okay. No. Thank you, Irina. Sorry to be so rude.
And again, she just puts her hand up to her neck and kind of she goes a bit quieter.
You can get a nice cravat or like a scarf or something. In fact, maybe we could even get you some sort of iron collar, and then you won't be able to be bitten.
Okay. So about
Was that so
Make
wild?
it nice. It would be like a
Yeah.
choker.
An iron collar.
like some sort of slave. I already feel threatened enough by Strahd, and now you want me to become a slave for...
Okay. All right, let's not put words
Wow,
in
way
my
to
mouth
take
here.
it
He
the
said
wrong
that.
way, Irina.
He said it.
An iron collar.
Yeah,
A
you
choker,
put it on yourself.
a tasteful one.
Iron
Attaching
collar
a
sounded.
chain to it or anything. No, don't worry
Okay.
about that.
Don't
Yes,
change your
good luck with
wording
the
now.
vampire bites. You've already been bitten twice. Just a
It was just
suggestion.
like,
Stop.
So, my father, are we ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready
Let's
to...
move the body.
Now I do think it's probably a good idea to leave Irina here. Should we... are you all ready to help me here?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Aye.
All right. So Ismark sort of positions himself near the front left of this coffin. How are the rest of you organising yourself?
I'll take the front right.
Okay. Ismark and Morley up front. Loris, you're at the back,
I'll go at the back. Yeah, I'll take the back.
Yeah.
I'll just trail behind.
Okay.
I'll take the other side to what Loris is taking.
Yeah, cool. Joe, American's just got her hand just on the side of the coffin. And
I do want to softly volunteer to stay back and make her a tea, but if she seems like she really doesn't want anyone to stay, I'll go.
I mean, she's already sort of made her... If you want to stay back, you totally can, but I don't know how often we'll come back to you, if that's the case. It might be some time before we hear from American again.
How far is it to the church?
Well, I mean, as in, like, what you guys are going to go do,
Yeah.
it may not come back to American tonight, because I don't know what you guys are going to do.
There
So-
and back, right, guys? We're not pissing around here.
It'll just be you making tea.
Yeah,
You're like, how's the tea coming? Oh, very good.
yeah.
All right, back to the party.
Delicious.
And it's like, oh,
So I'll let you decide. I'll let you decide if you stay there. You do not need to.
okay, I'll come along.
Okay, okay,
It
cool.
seems like all signs point to join the coffin party.
Yeah, I mean, you just run the risk
Called a
of, like...
funeral.
You just run the risk of spending the next hour and a half sitting there listening to us, that's all.
Funeral has such negative connotations, like the term coffin party.
Coffin party.
Much
Coffin party, or if you just emphasize the fun in funeral. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know, that would be so much better.
Yeah.
A funeral.
funeral.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys make your way out of the house with the coffin and this sort of this formation up the road. And just like last night, no one seems to be out on the streets. It's all very empty. Ismark makes a comment sort of like, this is what I'm talking about. No one even bothers coming outside anymore, just for fear of what could happen. And you make your way past Mad Mary's house. And it seems to be a
She's
little...
still wailing.
It's a little quieter from there. There's no sounds really coming from there. You kind of there's a hope that she's just sleeping, and is maybe over whatever was afflicting her last night. And you make your way further up back to the crossroads where the tavern and the little store. I can't remember what I called it last time, but the little store's there as well. Beldrith's Mercantile, that's the one. And Ismark says it's just up here. We're going to turn left and we're just going to walk a little further, and you'll see. I pointed out the church last night, if you remember, so it's not too far from here. And you make your way. You spy like a couple of people looking, opening their shutters and looking out at you as this procession is carrying this coffin along. And anytime you do sort of look over towards them, the shutters just slam shut. And you get up to this church, and then you can hear the old wooden gallows from this church just creaking in this chill wind that seems to blow from the high ground to the west.
Isn't that where you hang people in the
I
gallows?
was going to say gallows.
Wait a minute. What am I looking at?
This is a rough church.
I'm going to rewind. I'm
It's
going to
a-
rewind that. Rewind that. Well,
Church has gallows. They're scary.
sorry, I read the wrong thing. Let's rewind that.
Oh, there's gallows somewhere.
Somewhere in this game, you might find some gallows.
We'll
all right,
remember
sorry.
this moment.
So the path that you're going along just goes up a small rise, and at atop that rise, against the roots of this pillar stone that just shoots up into the sky, that supports Castle Ravenloft above it. So it's kind of like behind this church is the starting of this mountain, and then just shoots up as this stone pillar. And right at the top, 1,000 feet up, is this castle, just
Is it
beneath
like
the
sheer
clouds.
cliffs, do you mean? Or?
Yeah, just sheer cliffs. There's like layers. There's like a sheer cliff that sort of stops off a few hundred feet up, and then another sheer cliff that just goes straight up.
Like a wedding cake.
It's like an onion.
Exactly
got layers.
like a stone wedding cake.
Awesome.
The church in front of you has obviously weathered the assaults of evil for centuries on end, and it's worn and it's weary. And behind it, there's a bell tower rising up over it, and you can see coming from some holes in the shingled roof is just some flickering lights, and you can hear the rafters of this church just straining feebly against the load of the roof. And we'll move you over to the church. Are you guys seeing that? Is that coming up for you?
We're at the steps.
Cool. Can you see inside the house, or is it all darkened? Is it all? Because we're trying out
Dark as dark.
Yeah, we're trying out the new dynamic lighting, so you can see the grass and the steps and stuff.
Fancy.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And as you approach, you can see that the heavy wooden door of this church is just covered with claw marks and scarred with fire. And Ismark leads the patrol and sort of gets up to the front of this, gets near the front of this church, and just shouts out, "Bruntel, could you grab the door for me?"
Yeah, all right. I'm going to shuffle up, trying to wake up a little bit. I think that brisk walk has woken me up. I'm going to walk up to the front doors and attempt to push. They push them or pull? I say push or pull.
It's big pull doors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to pull them open.
Okay, cool. The door opens to reveal this 10-foot wide, 20-foot long hall that leads to this brightly lit chapel. The hall itself is unlit and just reeks of mildew. There are 4 doors in this hall, 2 on the left, 2 on the right, leading to some sort of chambers of some sort. You can see that the chapel at the end of this hall is just strewn with debris, and you can hear a soft voice from within just reciting a prayer. Yeah, cool. And Ismark and the crew just slowly make their way towards. And Ismark calls out, "Father Donovich!" And as he calls out, the small sort of the soft prayer that you can hear being recited from the priest at the head of this altar is just cut solidly just by this bolt of an inhuman scream that just rises up from beneath the wooden floors.
What?
And the father sort of looks up at you. He's kind of got like a bit of shock in his eyes as the screaming is rising up from the ground beneath you. And he kind of winces for a bit, and then the scream sort of subdues. It's like, and he looks around, and he says, "Ismark, you've brought your father." Yes, Father Donovich, I have. And Ismark motions for you all to just place the coffin down on the ground. And Ismark turns to you, Morley, with sort of concern on his face. And then he once again this inhuman scream. It's quite a manly but inhuman kind of roar, screams up, and you think you can hear the word father sort of being screamed out with a strained inhuman voice.
Did anyone else hear that?
No.
That
Yes,
is
it seemed like
disconcerting.
a howl of terror.
Where's that coming from?
Molly wants to draw his sword at the sound of this kind of screaming. Just a protective kind of like, it's out.
Yeah, I think you've pulled out the sword and you're sort of like looking everywhere, and it's clear that it's coming from underneath the floorboards within this chapel and hall. Like it's coming up from just underneath you. And
It's surely not normal.
I'm going to call out to the father. What's down there, father? What's making that sound?
And he sort of starts sweating and says, Ismark, did you tell them about Doru? No, father, I thought that was sorted by now. And Ismark sort of looks over to Morley and says, that is, and then looks towards the rest of you, that is Father Donovich's son. He's been locked away.
Is this a problem we need to fix?
And Donovich, whose throat is so weak and sore and strained. No, you don't have to. You don't have to worry about it. Just leave your father's body and please leave. And then the scream just bolts up from beneath your feet once more, and you can just hear like it's like a pained hunger in the voice. Like you can hear the word hungry like screaming out in this voice.
Ismark, are you really comfortable leaving your father's body here when that thing's screaming for what appears to be food?
Look, as long as we don't go down there, I think it'll be fine. We're just here to deliver the body, and then when Father Donovich makes the preparations, we have the funeral service, and we leave the father and his son to peace.
Peace? I don't know if that's the right word to use.
Morley.
This is quite distressing for Morley, so I want to turn back to Loris and say, big man, you watch Ismark, and I'm going to start striding towards the father with my sword out, not hyper aggressively, but just kind of in front of me, like, you better start giving me some answers.
Yeah, give me an intimidation roll. I'll say with advantage since you've got your sword out.
My sheet just crashed. Hang on. Okay, yep.
Okay. All right. With advantage, you've got 20, which is this guy is just shaking as you approach with these meaningful strides with your sword out. You cut a menacing pose for this guy, especially with all of these candles flickering around you that seem to be lighting this room. And he's just like, and drops down to his knees in front of you with his hands up. Please, no, please don't hurt me.
You better start talking, father.
What do you need to know?
I need to know exactly why there's an unholy screaming coming down there from someone that I've heard is your son. What kind of father treats his son locked up?
And the father's eyes kind of well up, and he says, I've been praying day and night, hoping that the gods will give me the answers for how to save my son. But until then, he's going to be. I'm afraid of what he might do to the people of Barovia. American.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I wanna join Morley at his side.
Mm-hmm.
And put my hand on his shoulder and sort of in the idea of calming him down so he doesn't do anything rash with his sword. Because I don't know him that well. And I'm going to gently say, this seems like an undead problem.
You're saying that to Morley?
I'm saying it to everyone at large.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
I'm gonna look back at American and just kind of lower my sword slightly to where I'm still holding it, but it's no longer raised in the air.
I think Ismark meets you as well, Morley, on your other side. And standing, he's not trying to placate you at all. He's just sort of standing on your side. Loris?
Basically following Morley's instructions to watch Ismark, I'd move myself in front of him to stop Ismark going anywhere near Morley.
Okay.
So if he approaches, I'm just going to put my hand out in front of his chest, just wait.
Okay. All right. Okay. You keep Ismark at a distance in that case.
Just so he's beside where I'm standing, so he can kind of see what's going on, but not actively get involved.
Yeah, and Ismark is not taking offense to this at all. He's kind of like, I get it. Maybe I can shed some light. I'm not sure if Father Donovich is up to retelling this tale. Loris, may I pass and talk to Morley? And with that permission, he sort of makes his way up and says, Morley, you can put the blade away. The father's son, Doru, he was lured by some wizard to take on Strahd a year ago. And both the wizard and Doru met their fate by Strahd's hands. He was returned to his father as what can only be described as a vampire spawn. And Donovich has done the only thing he knew to do, which is lock him away underneath the church until the gods listen and help him bring his son back to him. And Donovich, hearing this tale, he's just sort of like drops his head and his hands now, and drops his head, and he's just kind of crying, but he stops his crying almost straight away and just goes into this silent prayer.
Oh, this poor man.
And that screaming, just this inhuman screaming, bolts up from underneath the ground again. There's no words to it this time, just this starved scream.
Can I roll a check to see if I kind of buy the story I'm getting from Ismark and the father here?
Sure. Give me an insight roll. Total of 17. You look at Ismark and he seems incredibly sincere. And you're hearing some of the prayers that the father is saying, and it matches just the show me. He's clearly praying for some kind of inspiration to be able to heal his son.
All right, I put my blade away and say, all right, but wherever there's human suffering, you better believe I'll be asking some tough questions. And kind of put the blade away.
Yeah. Loris, your hand was up?
Yeah, I just want to kind of quietly walk up to Ismark and Morley and just to sort of lean down between their heads and just kind of whisper, sounds like death would be best for this beast. And then I'm just going to step back. That's how you deal with the devil in Loris's mind.
How loud are you just whispering that?
Just loud enough for Ismark and Morley to hear.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the priest won't.
Yeah, Donovich is lost in prayer at the moment. What's Bill doing, having heard all this?
There's quite a lot of emotions running through Bill at this point, with this guy and his father, and seeing the pain this is obviously causing Morley. This certainly was not the welcome he was hoping for. This casket we've tried to carry in here, but it seems like it seems as though he's doing the best he can right now. If Ismark is fine with leaving his father here, this is what he's asked us to help with. So I don't think we can take it particularly personally, but it does make me feel a bit uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie.
And Morley, what do you think with what Loris has sort of whispered to you and Ismark?
I actually had some conflicting thoughts along the same lines myself just moments ago, thinking, well, maybe it would be better to be putting this creature out of its misery if there's no return, but also can absolutely understand a father could never put his own son to the sword. So still very uncomfortable. I've dropped my aggressive tone now, though.
Well, I know nothing of vampires. Is there a cure for such a thing? Is there any way? Or is it a vain hope? I'm addressing Ismark.
Vain hope. I like it.
Come on now.
So, well, no one's really come or found any sort of cure in regards to vampires yet. There have been plenty that have been turned, and it's unfortunate, I feel, for Father Donovich here that his son returned. It's unfortunate. Most families, they lose their family members to Strahd, and they're never seen again unless they have returned to hunt. This one was delivered back to Father Donovich, almost like some kind of sick gift.
Oh, he truly is the devil.
The Baron's been pretty quiet.
Because I'm still by the door because of that horrible noise. I didn't want to go in. Did I hear this explanation of that it's a vampire, or?
Yeah, it wasn't whispered. It was sort of just detailed to the crews, and you're not that far away that you might have missed it. You wouldn't have heard Loris's suggestion to take care of this creature.
I wouldn't have. Oh.
No.
What? Do I know what a vampire spawn is? I'm interested in necromancy, undead types.
I think you'd piece it together just from the terminology, right?
Yeah, but I don't know any lore, deep lore. About
Not really. No.
Hey, I'm going to say, hey Bill. So there's a vampire spawn down there. Do you think we get to have a look?
It's not so.
I mean, we could, but I guess what I'm worried about is whether or not it seems like a kindness to do what Laura suggested.
Yeah, I'd like to examine it and see if there's something is reversible, or maybe all undead vampire spawn aren't bad. Maybe he's just hungry.
It sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, and that screaming is still just
sounds hungry.
The power of that scream is amazing. It is just filling this entire church every time it comes up from underneath you.
So it sounds like a very powerful creature.
The scream just sounds it's been projected very, very loudly.
I mean, there's hangry, and then there's like seriously fucked up.
I feel for this poor man. I don't feel there is hope for him. I feel that perhaps the worst torture of all would be to let this go on.
Yeah, I'd be right. I'm going to walk in a little bit.
He's going to walk in just a little bit. You make your way past that first door, just as another scream comes up, and it sounds like a little louder from behind that first door.
Oh, has it down through this door? I'm gonna.
Who are you asking? To Ismark?
Just to the room. Ismark and Father Donovich.
Ismark says, I wouldn't have a clue. All I know is that the father managed to trap him underneath the church. No one's dared to go down.
Does anyone know if this is reversible, or is he just going to be an insatiable, blood-hungry vampire spawn for the rest of eternity?
Ismark just shrugs.
I mean, I already kind of asked him that. Probably not as eloquently though.
You know what? If we are up against vampires, I think the more we know about them, the better. And there's maybe.
Are you suggesting we dissect this one?
Possibly. If we meet a spawn,
right there.
The dad is right there.
Yeah.
Don't mention the. But yeah, I think. Don't you think it's a better idea to not have a vampire spawn under a church?
I agree. Having a vampire spawn under a church seems incredibly like a bad idea. It's just poorly thought out.
Bill?
Bill steps forward to Father Donovich and bows his head and just says, Padre, can I level with you here?
And Donovich gets to his feet and nods with a very solemn look on his face.
And I'll just help him to his feet as well. I'll just say, I know you sought out assistance from the gods you pray to, and I'm sure you would wish for a cleaner resolution. I'm sure you would love to have your boy back.
He's just nodding with every word.
Sometimes certain things are not possible. And sometimes the assistance that you ask for is not exactly what arrives. And perhaps you'll find in time that this is a kindness that's been visited upon you, but perhaps not in the way you'd hoped.
Can you give me a persuasion roll?
Good.
That's our bard. Go, bard, go.
Oh,
There we go.
28.
28.
28.
Yeah.
wow.
He's just like, yeah.
Rest in peace.
Which door was that?
I think as you're talking is like just a tear just rolls down Donovich's face, and he places one hand on your chest, Bill, and says, "Oh, maybe my prayers have been answered by the appearance of you."
I do believe something has led us here. It's no coincidence that Ismark asked us to escort his father here today.
Yeah, I think Donovich is almost out of words right now. It sounds like he is just being, his throat and voice sounds so worn that it's possible that that he's probably been praying for days, just constantly, and his eyes are welling up.
Can I suggest you perhaps go wherever you feel most comfortable and meditate on your son, the man he was, the boy he was, and remember those times and forget these ones.
And he nods his head and points sort of down the hall to one of the rooms, and just says, the back left room, there's a trapdoor. I'll just be here praying. And he gets down to his knees and looks up towards just the high up on the wall, closes his eyes and just repeats a small prayer over and over. And he just seems to be lost in that prayer for now.
I promise you, Padre, we'll grant him peace.
Ismark looks over to you, Baron, at the back of the hall and just points to the door behind you.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Loris. In there.
Loris has been waiting for the permission to go and slaughter this thing because he just thinks it's an unholy abomination. It should not exist. So with Baron pointing to the door and confirming that that's where it's going to go, he's just going to open it quietly because he doesn't want to kick down and break any more of the church. So I'm just going to try that door, assuming that it's open. I've got my axe out, ready to go.
Yeah.
As you go in, I'm going to say, don't completely mash it. I want to have a look at it.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. There's so many restrictions on what I can do. It's like...
Don't mash it. Loris, you open up this door and time and neglect have just punched holes in the ceiling of this incredibly moldy room. It contains it contains a few broken roof shingles amidst puddles of water on the ground. And in one corner set into the floor is this heavy wooden trapdoor held shut with this chain and a padlock. And you can hear the screaming powering up, these screams of anguish powering up through that trapdoor.
I know what to do. I'm just gonna, with my axe on the chain, just to break the chain open.
Yeah, just give me a strength roll.
Sweet.
Well, while this is going on, I'm going to turn to Ismark and say, if the shit goes south, can you swing a blade, Ismark?
It's a 22.
And Ismark just places his hand on a short sword at his side and just gives you a little nod. Yeah. You just you bring your axe down on that chain, and the chain is going across the trapdoor, and you just break that trapdoor. It looked pretty flimsy anyway. The wood was quite rotten from the water that had seeped into this room. You just break that trapdoor, and you can just see a small wooden staircase that descends 15 feet down into complete and utter darkness.
I'm just going to call down into the darkness. Back away, foul beast. We're coming down.
And that's where we'll take a break. Perfect.
This guy's dead. This guy's poor dad hearing all this shit. So insensitive.
Yeah, it's not like this. It's not like this solemn kind of we'll go put him out of its misery. It's just like, motherfucker, we're coming.
Yeah, it feels like, I know you love your son. Can we get permission? And then as soon as he says yes, Soros is like, fuck yeah, I'm on board.
He's like, it's been a session and a half. I need to kill something.
Oh, come on! As soon as you introduce the screaming beast, Laura's like, I'm going to beat that shit up. I'm going to smash it. I mean, it was nice that Bill sort of said we would do it nicely, but Loris, the way Loris kills something there's nothing nice about it.
Yeah.
I hope he's not planning on an open casket.
Oh, man.
But the priest will be in so much like intense praying that he won't have even heard what Loris said.
I hope
Yeah,
he's praying
yeah,
real
sure.
loud to himself. I'm like thinking the priest probably should have moved a few houses down.
That was brilliant by you, by the way, Bill. Like the way you introduced that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
I
dude.
really thought that was fantastic.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was super
It
cool.
was touching.
I
It
hope
was
I get a
really
chance
touching.
to say my piece. American would just be like so stunned by his eloquent speech.
Loris almost shed a tear at hearing it, but
Yeah,
he was.
sure
I
he
think.
Oh, well, the tears of joy that he gets to kill something.
Yeah. It's just like, I can't believe I get to kill something. This is so good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Bill.
you, Bill, for doing this for me. You know that
Well, you're always thinking about my niece, Bill. It's brilliant. Always thinking about
So
my
beautiful.
niece. I mean, Wally tried, but Bill had my back all the way. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that's why he did it. That was
dear.
great, Bill. That was great, John.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was
It was peak Bill. I was
incredibly
just like,
good.
Yeah.
oh man, that was amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah. That's been awesome so far.
hard.
Feel free to go grab a drink if you guys need to replenish it all.
Do we need to
same-
mute Zencaster at all, John?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
Reagan.
Give Zencaster a
remember-
mute if you're disappearing
Just-
for a bit.
Remember to unmute it.
Yeah, well, see,
Like
the good thing is since we're not using Whereby for audio, we won't be able to hear you if you don't unmute. So it's fine. It'll be fine. So feel free to mute yourself if you're disappearing. We had some interesting. First of all, chat. Hi, nice. Thanks for sticking around and watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I've been enjoying it. And I'm sure the others are as well. I hope the others are as well. It looks like we had some interesting. We had someone I think get banned from our chat.
Someone got kicked, didn't they?
Someone got
Why'd you
kicked
do
out.
that?
Well, they did want to see your tits, Joe. So there was that. That was one of the things.
Nice.
Yeah, real class there. That's why a lot of guys go on the on Twitch, just so they can harass women, which is kind of sad. And this is our first one. This is yeah. That's why I joined the game.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that part yet, but it will happen. Stay
Yeah.
tuned, everyone.
Yeah, when Strahd slowly undresses Mirakin. Gross. No, that's not
Yeah.
happening.
I started the joke, but now I'm
I just
uncomfortable.
feel so uncomfortable even joking, eh? It's so wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong. So I'm glad. So Random Origins, thanks for doing the modding their moderation, I guess, and getting rid of that person. We don't need people like that. We just have fun.
There's plenty of cleavage streamers anyway.
There's so
much
many.
fun.
There's so many. And if Joe, if you could just make a list and hand that out to some people on our Discord, that'd be great. Cool. We've had a bunch of new followers as well. So let's go back. We've got Marcus J-Lo, Ra Brochelli, Ashelon, Amnail the Invoker. Are you a shambling mound found in a death house? I feel like that's a very Lorgoth the Decayer kind of name.
The Invoker, no, that's the one that calls him, I think.
True. Saya Ladilana, I ruined that name. Hypercrush, Mac and Cheese Incineroar, which is great, and D&D with THC. Thank you guys so much for following and getting us so much closer to 500. We must be getting really close to 500 followers. 474. That's awesome. 26 more followers. So if you like what we're doing and you're not following us, definitely hit the follow button so you know when we're going to go live next. All of our previous sessions are live on YouTube and Twitch, and everything up to the latest episode 7, was that last week? That's in podcast form as well. If you want to, so if you want to catch up, there's numerous different ways that you can catch up. We're only 8 sessions in, so it won't take too long. Too much of your time. And Italoxum, thank you for following us as well. Well, I was going to ask everyone what they thought of everything that we've done so far, but it's just you, Joe. Hi.
What did I think?
Yeah, so sorry for continuously shutting down, like staying back with Irina, but it would have literally just been like, you might as well have just disappeared.
You should have just said. You could have just said it even more succinctly instead of trying to hint. Because I was like genuinely, you could have just been like, "No, don't stay with her."
I thought I did a really good job.
You did eventually, but it took us about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I
don't
think
know
we
how
all kind of wanted.
Sorry, Dave.
I just think we all kind of wanted to see the interaction between Mirakin and Arena. It would have been, well, I had initially thought it could have been quite revealing if we'd had a chance to listen to the conversation and learn a bit more about what's going on, but that may not have been the case in the time that obviously the other ship was going down.
Yeah.
I think the argument that she was making that she was perfectly safe, I think a lot of in my mind I was like, oh, this just feels too much like foreshadowing, like we'll get back and she's dead and you'll be like, oh, but you would have left someone to protect the vulnerable lady, you know. So I was like, oh, I don't want that to happen,
I wouldn't have pushed so hard if that would have been a really DM move to do if I was like, no, go away because I'm gonna kill her. Like,
yeah. I like eventually, really.
So, just have 3 bites. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that kind of thing. It was like trying to do it in character instead of just being a DM and going, you guys can just go.
Yeah.
I think you do have to do that a bit. Just go. It looks like you have more fun. Like what I liked what you said. You know, you're gonna have more time.
Yeah.
More fun going together. Otherwise, we'll come back. There won't be any talking for you.
Yeah.
Because that's what you want to know. He's like, oh, you're actually not going to get it to do anything else.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of like, oh, are they just going to go to the church and come back really quickly and we'll have protected the person that we're supposed to be protecting? But then evidently it wasn't.
Yeah. I totally get it. I totally get it. It was just trying to... I don't want to, as a DM, just break character and say, you guys, you need to leave now.
Just say there's stuff that's going to happen at the church that I've planned, and nothing's going to happen here.
I mean,
you might need all of your forces.
I'm totally down for you guys splitting the party. Totally down for that. But I was just only if it's going to be like if I can bounce back and forth between you lot.
Yeah, and if there's a point to it.
Yeah, and if there's a point to it.
There's no actual game happening at the house.
Yeah. Someone in the chat was saying that they one of their players rolled a natural 1 insight to know if Irina was lying about the whole attack thing. Ooh. And he ended up becoming paranoid and ended up trying to shove garlic on Irina's face while spraying her with holy water and dust of silver. That's
very thorough.
That's an overreaction, but
if he cooked the garlic first, she might have even appreciated it.
Yeah, maybe.
That's quite good. That's quite good RP for a 1 insight check.
Yeah, just like I don't believe her at all. That's awesome.
I'm throwing everything I've got at this lady. I don't give a shit if it's going to work.
Yeah,
rolling a 1. About garlic and stuff. Do we know about garlic?
Yeah, I'm always like, do we know any vampire lore?
You guys haven't asked people about what they know of vampires yet, but I would assume you guys are pretty new to it. I don't think vampires are a big thing. I don't think vampires are a big thing in Faerun, right?
But have we heard of the lore? You know, even in our world, we've heard about vampires. Do we know about the basic stories?
But that's because we live in a world where someone invented them and made very.
But that's a world
stories.
That they are real.
Yeah, so the stories would spread. But even if they seem like fairy tales, you would have heard.
Bill's about to ask the proper question here.
Are we in our world or not? That's the thing.
Exactly.
What?
OMG.
Where are you guys right now? You guys don't even know where you are right now.
No, we're just killing shit.
Different dimension.
No, but in Phandalin or whatever, are there stories about vampires?
Yeah, but are we in Phandalin? Like, are we in a world?
But that's where our stories come from.
Yeah, but are we in a world that we as characters know anything about? Like that, I guess it's like, is it a real world like we know, or is it in a world that we have no idea about?
I'd have to do some research to find out. I'd have to do some research into what is known in Faerun.
Or just have a character say, by the way,
vampires
are weak to being staked with wooden things and garlic. They don't like that. And then it doesn't matter if our characters know it or not. We know it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My name is Van Helsing, and I've been hunting vampires for 20 years.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
these are the things that are effective against vampires.
Yeah, I mean, you've done a shit-ass job of it in this village, mate. I'll be saying.
Where were you this whole time?
The other thing is you guys, just because you guys know of the earthen ways to deal with a vampire, doesn't mean you know with anything about the Faerun ways or the Barovian ways.
I believe they're Faerunic ways.
Faerunic.
Yeah, are there Faerunic stories about vampires? That's what I want to know. Do I know the basic?
That's your research for until next week. You can take a look and see what stories of vampires exist in Faerun.
You running this game? I'm not going to decide what.
Okay, cool. But then, from my point of view, you guys know nothing of vampires.
Okay. Never even heard of them. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you have only heard what you've heard of since you've entered Barovia.
Okay.
I have a thing. In my equipment that I started with, I actually have a holy symbol and holy water. So I must have something that I want to use that on at some point. So
Washing.
interesting though that I have
praying.
that.
A holy symbol is just like that can be any like religious
Yeah.
symbol, right?
I just find it interesting that I have holy water with me just
And
in case.
and holy water is just blessed water. That's
But what is it for?
But people use it for baptisms in Earth. It's not for
Baptism.
fighting.
I don't baptize
for-
no one.
I'm just saying, you've got it. You'd have to come
Maybe
up with your
I'm
own
making
reason.
For no reason
big-
whatsoever.
You'd have to come up with your own
The
reason for
moment.
why you're holding on to holy water.
Oh my god, I also have a wooden stake. Explain that.
Why do you have a wooden stake?
Why do you have a wooden stake?
Picturing gear. I just
Oh,
have
there you go.
it.
I mean, so there you go.
Silver bullet.
No,
yeah.
unfortunately, but I just feel like American knew something about something to have these in her kit.
It's one of those. What's that word? When everything just sort of like falls into place. It's like
Yeah.
serendipity.
Yeah, they're just like they're weak to this, this, and this, and you're just like, oh, like these things that I've
You're
been
like,
carrying around
what
for the
the
last
fuck?
decade.
I've just been
Wanting
stockpiling.
these, I knew
Yeah.
they'd come in handy.
It's like, is that a steak in your pocket, American? Because that's going to come in handy.
Oh my god, that was Ismark's voice.
It was. Oh my god. Are you guys ready to get back?
I was
to the
just gonna make a really meta comment. I think one of my problems playing D&D is I am too worried about what my character would know that I'm like always underestimating them.
Yeah,
And so I'm
yeah.
always like, I'm way dumber than I should be.
Yeah, I know that way.
I'm like,
Right,
I don't
I
know
see what you're
anything
saying.
about vampires.
Tell me what a door does. Okay. Jesus.
I mean, like you
Okay.
see a spell and you're like, oh, what could that possibly? Oh, I just imagined it. It's like, no, you know magic exists. Don't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. That's the thing that always amazes me is like the confusion that like, or you gotta like people who say their characters know nothing about like how magical this world is. It's like they live in such a magical world full of like real life fairy tales that something like a mimic shouldn't be
Would
a
they-
shock.
So they might have mentioned vampires.
Not in this one.
Here we go around again.
No one's even
okay.
conceived the idea of vampires hasn't even been conceived outside of
Yeah.
I think if you lived in a fairy tale world, you'd be less likely to make up stories, though, right?
Is it like
You'd be like,
Yes.
everything is so fantastical.
Yeah.
Why
But
would
yeah,
I
they're
bother
not made up,
imagining
they're like-
anything?
But they'd still be like, hey, the vampire will come and get you if you don't go to bed.
That's true. That is true. If
Yeah,
they
and
existed.
the fairy tales would just be more and more extreme. Like instead of like
Yeah.
the dragon, it'd be like,
Oh, you don't think they'd go the other way?
Universe.
They don't go the other way. Like, if you don't go to bed now, you'll become an accountant.
Well, they wouldn't know what. Well, no.
I've just heard the stories of the boring life of. No, I'm not going to down accountants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accounting is quite a central figure point in the new Adventure Zone
Oh, really?
series. Yeah, it's pretty, and they do quite a good job of making it like
That's
amazing.
Cool. That's cool. Travis is running that one, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to catch up. Anyway, let's get back into it. I will just say thanks to Ozgirl for giving us a follow. That every follow counts and makes us stronger. We are, just so you guys are aware, at 476 followers.
Oh, come on.
24 away from 500. So thank
Gotta
you
get to
guys.
666.
Yes, and then just cut the stream. That's it.
Yeah.
No more stream.
Quit.
What
Yeah.
happens when we hit 500, Reagan?
I don't know. Some streams have like giveaways and stuff. So maybe it's time maybe we can give away a shirt or something. Speaking of, how about Billy Goblin from the Lost Mine of Phandelver playthrough that we had?
Nice.
It's a very good shirt, which is currently not for sale because I got to get it back up on Designed by Humans because they screwed me. Thank you so much, Design. But there are, if you look beneath the stream, there is a couple of shirts currently for sale, which are top notch. Such good shirts. But we'll talk about those after the stream. Let's get back into it. What order are you guys? Loris. So let's look at from what Loris is seeing first of all. Loris, you've just got complete darkness below you.
Yeah, so I'm going to swap out my axe for Lightbringer. obviously, because if I can't see anything, Lightbringer is my go-to.
Yeah.
And Lightbringer, I'm gonna under my breath just gonna like, because I don't really like screaming it out and announcing that I have a toy that requires voice activation. It's just kind of gimmicky. So kind of Lightbringer.
Come on. You don't want to announce it to the.
I don't really like. It's like.
It's a giant beam of light that happens.
Yeah, but I just kind of want. Well, I like that. In Loris's mind, it's like he pulls it out and it just goes. Psh, but the fact that he has to activate it really kind of annoys him.
Yeah, I think you whisper like, to this thing, and to this like, and it just erupts with this bright light, just burst of light. And because you've had to get close to whisper to it, it just like blinds you for like a half second. But
really
there's just like
used to that.
Just the rest of you can just see this insane light just pouring out from the room that Loris is in, without having heard anything he's just said.
How far down is the is that like the ladder or like the next room?
No, it's actually like a stairway. It's a stairway that goes sort of down and into darkness. I think we can place you. Okay. I'll place you at the top of the stairs.
Okay.
So if you look over to the right, Dave, that's what you're seeing at the moment.
Sweet.
Are the rest of you following? What you Baron and Bill? You've seen Loris crack open this trapdoor. Activate Lightbringer and just walk down into the darkness.
I'm gonna follow, but I just had a question. Is the light from Lightbringer sunlight?
What kind of light is Lightbringer? Do you have that information?
I can't remember. I don't have it anywhere. I'd have to Google it. To be fair, I can't recall.
It's radiant light, isn't it?
It's radiant light, yeah.
That's actually probably a good thing to take a look at. Why don't you take a look at that while Bill and Baron, you sort of let me know what you guys are doing.
Anyway, I'll follow.
I'll say after you, Bill. And I'm going to cast Mage Armor with my glass staff, and I've also can cast Light as a cantrip.
Yeah, okay. So, Bill, you've sort of ducked down into that trap door next to Loris. Now, your night vision or your dark vision can let you see a bit more than what Loris's light, his mace, is lighting up. And you can just see huddled in the corner of this room a young man. So the church's undercroft has rough-hewn walls and floor made of just damp clay and earth. The rotting wooden pillars are straining under the weight of the wooden ceiling, and you can hear the footprints of people, the creaking of the floorboards beneath the feet above you now. Candlelight from the chapel above is slipping through small cracks, allowing you to glimpse, and with your dark vision, just this gaunt shape in the corner that looks to be I don't know, a young boy, maybe 8 in his late teens.
Is he
young man, I should say.
Is he restrained in any way?
No, you're not seeing any restraints on this creature.
Is it on me or on Loris at the moment?
Is what? Sorry.
Is it on me or on Loris? Like turn orderways or?
Oh, it's free turns at the moment.
Yeah.
But Loris is in front of you. He's blocking your path at the moment.
So I've just chucked in in Roll20 the mace thing. It illuminates radiant light, and it does 1d6 radiant damage to undead creatures when it's on.
Right. Okay.
So so radiant light is, I guess, the answer to the question.
Yeah. Okay.
When you attack, yeah.
Yeah. So when I attack, it does an extra 1d6 damage, radiant light damage.
Oh right, so not just in the
not all the time.
Creatures
Okay. So it's not sun.
That would be awesome.
Do you guys know just off the top of your head if radiant light and sunlight? It's not sunlight, right? Sunlight is like normally created from some kind of spell.
And the sun.
I mean, there are theories about that, sure.
Yeah. There's a spell that specifically says it acts as sunlight. So
this is just radiant damage. It's just bright. Okay, cool.
There's a couple of spells. There's sunbeam and daylight. Both have the sun clause.
Right. Yeah. So
both of them are quite high level spells.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I think if it was the same as sunlight, it would probably make a mention of it, given it
Yeah.
mentions undead as well, so it would
And I
actually cover
think
that.
undead are they susceptible to radiant damage? It'll say if they are on there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, no, that's fine. That's cool.
We don't know his son's name, eh? We probably should have asked that.
No, we did hear it was Doro.
Doro, yeah.
Doro.
Yeah.
Doro. We heard your pain. We've come to help.
And he's just kind of just in that corner, just shouting up through the floorboards for his father, just ignoring you at this point. Loris, what are you doing? You're blocking the way at the moment.
So he's, where is he? How far is he away? So he is what? Oh, he's 40 odd feet away. So I'm just gonna walk into the room down the stairs and just gonna hover there. Obviously, I think I can kind of just see him from there pretty accurately. And I'm just gonna wait for Bill to come into the room further if he is going to follow. But I'm just going to wait there with bring it in my hand, just kind of waiting to go.
Yeah, okay, cool. And Baron, you've had a chance to finally just follow in behind Bill now. So if you just look over to the right, I've just moved your token to the top of the stairs. Yeah.
I'll slowly edge my way down the stairs.
Yeah, cool. Is Morley, you were sort of in the hallway watching these, the rest of them sort of make their way down through this trapdoor. Are you following suit? Or are you heading down?
I'm going to call Ismark to... Ismark, come on. And then... Oh, and American's up here too, right?
Yes, yeah.
All right, I'm calling to American as well. Leave the father be. We've got work to do. And then I'm going to... Yeah, I guess descend the trapdoor.
Okay, cool. You follow the Baron down, and we'll just place you over to the right as well.
Oh, wow! This dynamic lighting's awesome.
yeah. I think Ismark sort of just hangs back a little bit in that room while he watches you move down. American, you've just been left in this room with a priest at the moment who's just he's got his back to you at the moment, facing the northern wall, and he's just lost in prayer with his eyes closed.
I did want to say when Bill said his speech that it touched American greatly, and before he leaves, she does touch him on the shoulder and thank him for his words. And then she quietly follows along.
Cool. I think you and Ismark are in that sort of rotten, mouldy room for a little moment. We'll just head back down to where the rest of the crew is. This is still sort of free actions for now. What are you guys doing? Bill? Is there anything you're specifically up to?
I'm just gonna fall in line with Loris, I think.
Cool. Making way for the rest to sort of head down, or
yeah,
cool.
No, I'm just observing if I can spot anything interesting about his behavior or anything.
He seems to be at the moment ignoring you. He looks over for a beat just before shouting back up towards, screaming back up towards his father.
Does he seem to be undead?
Wait, sorry, Baron, what was that?
Oh, sorry. Does he seem to be human, or is he undead, or is he?
You're going just from the light that Loris is casting at the moment.
I've got light as well, but yeah.
Yeah. Let's have a quick look and see. Kind of. I think at the moment he's too sort of caught in shadows for you to see much detail. But I will say for Bill, what Bill sees is what just looks like an emaciated human. Loris.
Yeah, Loris is just going to take a piece of food out of his bag and throw it in the direction of this thing. I'm hoping to maybe land it about here-ish.
Mm.
I just want to see what he does, and the aim is to kind of try and distract him. So we can kind of watch him quietly, and if we decide to slaughter this thing, we might get the jump on him.
Okay, so yeah, you managed to get some food out of your side pouch and just toss it into the room, sort of 10 to 15 feet from him. And it lands on the ground, and he hears it hit the ground, and he just his attention is taken from the roof down to where he heard that thing land, and he kind of edges forward a little bit, looking at it, and then looks up at all of you, and there's just Bill, you're the only one that can really see the wild look in this creature's eyes, and he sort of drops back onto his knees, and he brings his hands up to his face, and he goes, "I can smell your blood!"
Okay, this thing has to die. Loris is pretty convinced that this thing's not human. So at that, on that cue, I'm just gonna charge and literally swing my axe at his head.
Yeah, I think the moment you move forward, he just darts forward as well, and we're gonna need a roll of initiative, please.
Where's American on this? Remember to click your tokens.
Oh, click your token, everybody.
Click your token.
5.
Oh, Jesus. A 3. That's awful.
There's a lot of low rolls here.
That's horrible.
Roll 7.
Good job, everyone.
We really want to get involved in this fight.
I better roll for Ismark as well, actually. Let's bring that up.
Get into it, Ismark.
Ismark, don't forget to click your token. Thank you. Oh, there's so many things to do. Okay. Cool. Let's put that in top of the order. All right, so the top of the order is Doru.
Doru.
Where is this?
I think it's Dolly for some reason.
How far can
you should start calling him Dobby or something.
We were calling him Doro before, and it sounded like a really dumb Zorro or something.
Okay.
Doro.
He just starts climbing the walls, and he's almost in a flash has made his way partially across the room, but climbing up these walls and clinging onto the top of this roof. Now he looks down and he's finally hit that cone of light that that Lightbringer is shining out, and you can just see the wild look in his eyes, and he just hisses down at you, but doesn't do anything. He's too far to be able to attack, but he's coming for you basically. Baron, over to you.
Okay, so that's fascinating. Does it look like he can just walk on walls, or is he gripping into them with his...
You can take 6 seconds to investigate how he's doing that if you like.
No. It shocked me with his climbing and fascinated me. I'm going to cast Ice Knife.
All right.
13 plus 7, 20.
I think that's a hit, yeah. Yep, that is definitely a hit.
Okay, so that does 1d10. Oh,
1d10 and he rolls a 12.
Wow,
amazing!
That's amazing.
I am that good. Oh, a 10 though.
Okay, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so your ice knife just shoots out and lands straight into the shoulder of Doru, who's basically on all fours on the ceiling, and that just explodes, doing 10 damage.
Now he just has to do a Dex saving throw of 15.
Yeah, sure. He rolls 18 total.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Anything? Is that it?
I'm going to back away a little bit.
Okay. Yes, everyone's favorite. Cool.
Up against the corner here.
It is Ismark's turn, and he looks down at Morley and sort of says, "Make way, big guy!" As he sort of heads down the stairs and into the room, and he's just spending his turn. He's got his still got the face up there. He spends his turn just unsheathing his short sword and just taking in something that he'd only heard stories of before. But in regards to Doru, he's seen vampire spawn, but he knew Doru before this. American, over to you.
I'll make my way into the room.
All American you've heard is the hissing out of "I can smell your blood," which is the first time you've heard these screams change from either just being hungry or calling out for his father. And we'll move you down to the top of these stairs if you just move off to the right. Scroll to the
I
right.
can't move.
Oh
God.
Wait. Don't move your character. I've just moved your character.
Okay. I'm going to solemnly say, we must make this quick and we must make this merciful. And I'm going to lash out with a thorn whip, trying to bring him down from the roof by wrapping a vine around his ankle, smashing him to the floor, which is probably...
Sounds merciful.
I'm doing my best.
How far can that reach? It's only 30 feet,
I don't know.
right?
I can't see the room I'm in.
Well, go to the right. Can you see if you move to the right?
It would be nice for it to be that easy, wouldn't it? But it's not.
What do you mean? So you can't scroll to the right of the map?
You know how Roll20 likes to treat me.
Just
Just give it 10 minutes.
You'll have to run maybe 10.
So you basically, okay, well, I'll paint a words picture for you. You're at the top of these stairs that are just leading down into this basement. Morley's a few steps down these in front of you, and you can see with your dark vision that about 35 feet across the room, 15 feet up onto the roof, is Doru looking down, hissing at all of you.
Okay, my range on that is 30 feet.
Yeah.
So I can move forward as far as it takes for me to hit him with that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We're gonna have to put
Try.
We'll have to put you closer than 30 feet because he's 15 feet up
Yeah,
on the roof.
I'm just gonna go in there. I'm just gonna get in the mix.
Okay.
And I've rolled a 21 for some 9 piercing damage. Do I get any bonus just because I'm hopefully getting a little bit of that ricochet effect in the mix?
And you can pull someone like 10 feet. Is that right?
Yeah, I can pull it 10 feet. So he's going to be pulled down with quite some force.
Yeah, the thorn whip wraps around his forearm and pull him down onto the ground. And the thorn whip does a little damage to his arm as it returns to your side. So how much damage did you roll? 9.
9 piercing damage.
Okay. I never know the best way to word this. And so I always end up going back to the same old thing, which it didn't look like it damaged him as much as it should hurt a normal human.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very frightening.
No, that would have done the full. Sorry, I just got confused there. It is a magical whip, so it will do the full 9. So ignore that. So you've whipped him and he's fallen down, but he lands perfectly on the ground.
He has cat-like elegance. Watch out, everybody.
Very nimble. Cool. Anything else for American?
No.
Perfect. Bill, over to you.
Is he prone or anything, or is he?
No.
Because he got pulled off the roof, right?
Yeah, but he landed quite delicately on the ground.
Gotcha.
So he's not prone.
And is that space that he's on accurate
Yes.
to where he should be?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna move up here and just get a real good look at him the first time.
Yeah. There's he's hissing out at the room. He's just like looking at every single one of you, and you can see these sharp fangs in his open mouth. And he's emaciated. His cheeks are all sunken in, and his neck is just skin and bone. And there's just a hunger in his eyes coming out towards all of you.
Okay. I'm just gonna run forward towards him, drawing my rapier from its scabbard, and just kind of forming a cross from my temple to my heart, shoulder to shoulder, and just stab as I reach him.
Yeah, cool. Give me a roll to hit.
Just the first one, so 17. Sorry.
Cool,
I
that's
should have
right.
Turned off.
No, that's right. 17 is a hit. So yeah, the rapier just like plunges into the side of his his ribs, in between a couple of his ribs. Was that 5?
I also have a quick question. So at the end of the last campaign, my rapier was doused in the anvil, the magical anvil. So is or was a +1 rapier still?
No,
that still...
that stopped being like a +1 rapier like hours after you left the Wave Echo Cave.
It.
Yeah.
Okay. So my weapon is not magical in that case.
No, it's not.
Just in case that matters.
Yeah. I tell you what, you might have done more damage if it was. So you haven't quite done the 5 damage to Doru.
And I'm just gonna say, I'm not sure what gods your father prays to, but for any gods you might, I hope you find rest.
Okay. Loris, over to
Okay. Loris has been dying for this. He's just stood there waiting, just ready to go. But yeah, he's revved up, ready to go. He's been in that sort of pounce position since this thing moved. So I'm just going to charge forward, screaming in my all bloody murdered cry. And as I'm going, I'm like, "Oh, Lucas goes!" And I'm going to switch the rage thing back on because I'm pissed at this thing and I want to put him out of his misery. So I'm just to charge up to him. Where am I? And oh Jesus, a pillar on my way. I can skirt around that because I've got 40-foot movement anyway, so it's fine. And with the mace, I just want to kind of aim for the kind of front of his forehead if I can, just kind of see if I can just crack his forehead in.
Okay. Yeah, give us a roll to hit.
Hang on. And that'll be with the first attack at least, and then the second one I'll follow up at some point. So the first one will be that. I'll swing it across his head, and then the second one I'm going to bring back, because by the looks of the things, it probably misses. And this
a roll of a 13.
13.
Yeah, it is a miss. You just sort of it just cracks into one of the pillars, and that pillar starts splintering and just sort of crumbles down, and a little bit of the wood above you just starts sagging.
Awesome. I'm not even going to take a notice of that. I'm just going to crack and swing straight back. And the second one is good God, it's a crit. It's an 8.
Give me... Okay, so what we do here is anytime a crit fail is rolled, we get the person who's rolled that to give us a D100 just to see how bad that crit fail is. D100,
Okay.
The lower the number, the worse it is.
It's an 88.
Okay, that's
88.
Two fat ladies.
Yeah, that's not
Two fat ladies. 2 fat ladies, yeah, 88.
You needed to bring that mic back up when you do that, Shannon.
Two fat ladies.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I think with that, you've gone in. This is it. Lightbringer's in your right hand, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you swing it forward and you crack through that the pillar in that first attack, missing completely. And you swing back the other direction, and you miss wildly, and just smack your hand into some of that broken pillar, and Lightbringer just goes flying from your hand.
Oh no!
It's kind of landed over here, just missing Bill as well.
Oh, Lightbringer, come back!
And it's just sitting in that side of the room, letting off a bit of light. Oh,
Everything went dark.
Oh, did it? Oh no.
Not for me.
Because the light's gone, right?
That shouldn't have gone dark for everyone. How's that? It would have gone dark. Did it go dark for everyone or just Baron and Loris?
It would have been people without night vision.
Yeah, actually, yeah, true. So
Mine went quite different.
Yeah, okay. All right, because you can sort of see normally Loris's light as well as your dark vision. But so you're seeing both. But okay, so we're just going to have to imagine both Baron and Loris has got no light around him. Baron, did you say that you had some kind of light as well?
I've got my staff is glowing.
Is that thing always glowing? Do you have to activate that at all?
Yeah, I cast light upstairs.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure this is all accurate. How's that looking now, Baron?
Ooh, that's awesome.
Okay,
That
cool.
looks pretty dope.
Yeah, cool. So, anything else from Loris? You've used up your movement to get there, and you're now without Lightbringer.
No hands. No, I'm just saying. I'm still growling at this thing, ready to rip its head off. So
yeah. What Loris? What you see from your point of view as Lightbringer flies from your arms is that it's moved away. It's you're no longer being illuminated by it. It's so far away now that you and Doru in front of you, it's just gone to darkness. Bill, you can still see, but for Loris, you are now in darkness. Morley, over to you.
Morley is going to think back to Bill's kind of the way Bill can kind of turn a situation by very cleverly using words, and he's going to initially begin to say, "Doru, your father, you're still the little boy your father and then he's just going to draw his short bow and just fire off a bolt.
Yeah, give us a roll to hit. There's a 9. That's a miss. Doru looks up as he sees you firing a crossbow bolt, and it just like fires into one of the pillars in front of him, and he just hisses out over in your direction. Anything else from Morley?
I am going to kind of use my dodge action to kind of not dodge. I'm just going to try and kind of flip over this banister here, so I'm on level footing.
Okay.
Roll for it.
Not this time. I think that amazing backflip you gave us like episodes ago means you're probably pretty good at being able to do this. So
it's just a jump,
just
over
a little
banister,
jump,
not a flip.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Just a ship captain swinging on a.
Do it all the time.
Yeah. Doru, it's Doru's turn now, and he's face to face with both Bill and Loris. And he sees this big, formidable shape in front of him. I think what he's going to do is leap up onto Loris. Can you give me...
I assume you meant me.
Can you... Dave, can you, with disadvantage, because it is pitch black, you can either try to dodge using Dex, or you can try and push him off using Strength, but I'm going to need disadvantage roll from you.
Is it a saving throw or
a saving throw?
All right, with disadvantage.
Yeah.
I'll use my strength to push him off, and I rolled a 15.
Okay, he's rolled a 17. 14 plus his modifier. So he jumps up onto sort of Loris's chest. He's got his hands on his shoulders and his feet sitting on your sort of stomach area, and he just scratches down one of your shoulders with one of his hands. So let's roll to see if that hits. Roll.
Just a question.
Yeah.
While I'm raging, I have advantage on strength saving throws. So does that negate the disadvantage that I had?
Well, that would just give you normal, and you still rolled a 15 as your first roll.
Oh no, I'm just asking.
Okay, that's
just
fair.
wanted to, just checking.
You have to just attack to keep the rage. You don't have to actually hit.
Yeah, I just have to be involved in a fight, basically.
So he's rolled a 17 for his attack.
That's a hit.
And he slashes down Loris's shoulder for 11 points of damage.
That's slashing damage?
Slashing damage, yeah, that's right.
So I have resistance to that while I'm raging.
So half that, so 6, is it? Rounding up?
11, yeah, 6.
Cool. And then as he sees you sort of like wince in pain as that tears down your shoulder, he just bares his fangs and goes to bite your neck.
At least it's your neck.
And he's rolled a total of 21.
Oh!
So he's given you 9 piercing damage.
Okay, so we'll resistance to that as well. I think. Am I?
As well
Should be.
as these fangs bite into you, you can just feel like a burning coming from that. As well as the sharp pain, but you can feel a burning to it, and it's also done 8 necrotic damage.
Oh, come on!
And
He loves someone unclean.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And he starts drinking from your neck, and you're going to reduce your maximum HP by 8 points.
By 8.
Yeah.
So is that also that's also taking the 8 damage as well? Taking
the 8 damage. So taking a total of 9 piercing, 8 necrotic, and then reducing your HP by 8, max HP by 8 as well.
Okay, I need to know that somewhere.
I think as he feeds Bill, you notice that like the hole that you put in him just seals over straight away. Baron, it's your turn.
Okay, since Loris's light has been thrown away, I can't see him, so I'm just going to say it's awfully dark in here.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk about 10 feet to the northwest, up next to Ismark, and I think I can see him.
Yeah, you'd be able to see just the hint of both Doru and Loris is now kind of one shape. Doru is still like on top of Loris, drinking from his neck.
Oh my god. He's biting Loris. I'm going to use Chill Touch. So that's an attack. 12 plus 7, 19.
Total of 19. Yeah, that's a hit.
And that is 2d8 damage. 9 damage.
What kind of damage is that? Is it necrotic?
Necrotic damage, but if I hit an undead target, it has disadvantage on attack rolls against me.
Okay, that's cool. So something that you noticed when you were in the Durst's house earlier is the last time you cast Chill Touch, the hand that normally came out, instead of being a sort of ghostly hand, it's almost skeletal, and the same skeletal hand shoots out and latches onto Doru.
It also can't regain hit points until the start of my next turn.
Okay, and what was the damage? What was the total damage?
9.
So it's only taken 5 damage from that.
Okay.
But it does have disadvantage on attacks on you. Is that right?
Yeah, just on me.
Okay.
Until my next turn.
All right, and it can't regain hit points.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Until the end of my next turn.
Yeah, cool. Anything else from the Baron?
I'm going to sort of get a little bit closer to Ismark, just get a little bit of cover and just give him a scared, freaked out look.
Okay.
See if does he look brave?
Well, it's Ismark's turn. And he sees you sort of getting up next to him, and you give him the look, and he looks down at you and he says, "Come on, mate, get in there," and runs off with his sword drawn.
He is brave.
And he makes it sort of next to Bill, but I guess Doru is kind of not really on that spot. At that spot, he's not going to be close enough to damage Doru, but he's got his sword in his hand, ready to attack. And I think he's going to ready as soon as Doru is no longer on Loris. He's going to ready attack to attack Doru with his short sword. Mirakin, over to you.
I'm gonna yell, "Watch out, he's got superhuman strength!" And I'm gonna run back towards the stairs and drawing my short bow. And I'm gonna take a shot from a distance.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, roll to hit.
If only these stairs were high enough to give me advantage.
I think
Always looking for that sweet advantage.
you're only a couple of steps up. If you ran to the top of the stairs,
yes.
Yeah, so roll to hit.
Okay, I will.
Any time.
Anytime now.
Just
Hitting.
here it is.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just
Rolled an 8.
there's a lot of movement happening in there, and you sight up Doru and let fire, but the struggle that's happening between Loris and Doru, it just sails straight over them both. Anything else? Nope. All right, Bill, back with you.
So he's like on Loris's shoulders, yeah?
He's like standing with his feet on Loris's gut and hands on his shoulder and head buried into Loris's neck.
Head buried into Loris's neck.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a cuddle. The love bite.
It's like a really nice romantic cuddle.
Yeah. Just having a moment.
Loris has got his hand on his back, just rubbing his back.
Gotta get a big hickey.
Tender moment.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm just going to. What's he wearing?
What does it matter?
It's irrelevant.
Yeah, it does. It does actually.
Okay, I will let you spend 6.
What's he wearing?
I'll let you investigate his clothing if you
I
want.
can clearly see what he's wearing, like at a glance, right?
A crop top and shorts. No, he's just wearing like rags. He's just wearing. He's just.
He's wearing rags.
crop top.
Okay.
Yeah.
I grab his rags.
Okay.
That's why it's important.
Gotcha.
From behind, and I'm just gonna try to pull him
Oh right.
off
Okay.
of Loris.
Wedgie.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a strength roll.
Well, I was just gonna suggest maybe I'm assisting Loris in whatever he does at Loris's next turn to get him. I'm assuming Loris is gonna try to shrug him off somehow.
Okay. So what we can
And
do?
Loris is like fighting with him, and I'm just. I guess I'd like to take the help action to help
cool.
Loris.
So you ready
my
the
plan.
help. You'll say that you ready the help action.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether Loris ends up doing that or not, that's another story. But you've readied the help action purely to help pull the guy off Loris.
You're pulling him.
Yeah, pull the guy off.
You suggesting
Pull the
that
guy off.
Loris might not struggle. You're like, well, we don't know if
I
he
don't
actually
know.
likes
Like,
it.
honestly, what I'm expecting right now is for Loris to bite Doru back. That is what I'm expecting. That's
What did
kind
run
of.
through my mind? It actually did run through my mind.
course it
I should
did.
just bite it
My
back.
blood, give it back.
I want that back, you fucker.
Okay, cool. So you've readied that. Loris, over to you.
Well, seeing I have 2 attacks, I just want to. I mean, I guess essentially this guy's there. My first instinct, besides biting him back, which is kind of funny, I just want to bite. Like, is there a pillar? There's a pillar somewhere beside me, but I can't kind of see it.
The pillar to
So
like
in front
of you to the right was the one that you destroyed.
Right. Okay. So this guy's here. I'm literally just going to body slam him into the ground. So like from where I am, I'm just going to drop flat there. So he lands flat on his back. I'm driving my forearm into his chest, and after that, I might just bite him because he's on the ground. That's my second attack if I'm allowed.
Okay. If you want to do that successfully, let's say you'd have to succeed on a grapple. So you need to basically grab onto him now and then take him to the ground. So
Well, he's kind of grabbing me. I just need to fall.
And I land
on top of him.
We can do that. We can do like a dex versus dex then. So
okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. Give me a dex roll.
A dex roll?
Yeah. And I'm
dex.
Give me a dex.
Dex roll, yeah.
Does he is me with me trying to pull him down or off? I'm trying to pull this guy off.
Yeah.
Does that help Loris at all?
I'm trying to think of because Loris wants him on there.
I've rolled 2 die. One's a 20, one's a 21. So take it back.
Yeah. I think you sort of see that Loris is planning to take this guy to the ground and like land on top of him. And he does exactly that. Loris just like you just kick your feet out from behind yourself and just land full weight down on top of Doru. What we'll do is we're going to take normally it would be just like an unarmed attack, but we're going to say D6 of damage. You can roll a D6 if you like.
Sure. I rolled a 5.
Yeah, great. So you're now on top of Doru, and you've knocked the wind out of him and damaged him a little bit with that as well. Is there anything else you want to do?
Am I allowed to bite him as a second attack? Is that permissible? I mean, you put it in my head, so I kind of now want to do it.
You've got an action of multi-attack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we also found out that grapple is
an action. Yeah. See, that's one attack. So yes, so you can do grapple as an attack, and then you can follow up with something else. So if you want, you can give me
I'm going to bite him then.
Roll with advantage. Roll with advantage for a bite.
Yeah. All right. So I'll roll it as an unarmed attack, I guess. There it is. I roll a 17, doing 5 damage.
That is more than enough. So you basically return the favor. Whereabouts you bite it right in the neck as well.
Right there. Return the favor.
And you do a bit of damage to him. But there's something so off about the skin that you've bitten into, and you do actually just bite right through and get a chunk of him in your mouth. And do you spit that off to the side?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I need to know whether you're going to eat that or spit it out.
No, I'm not going to eat it. I know to eat good shit and bad shit. Come on. not completely stupid. Just because I wipe the bodies of my dead enemies all over myself doesn't mean I'm going to eat them.
Yeah, cool. So you're now lying on top of... Both you and Doru will be considered in a prone state at this point.
That's cool.
Morley, over to you.
All right, I'm going to bring out the big guns, guys.
Oh God!
I'm going to take a couple of steps forward because there's a couple of pillars in my way, and I really need to get a clean shot. So I'm going to kind of use. I don't know how long that was. That was.
There is also a Loris-sized body lying on top of this thing.
Yeah.
This pillar doesn't exist, by the way.
Yeah, that pillar doesn't exist.
I broke that.
Right.
But he is basically in half cover with Loris on top of him.
Hey, decisions. All right. Okay, back to plan A, which is just firing off another bolt at him.
And a 12 is a miss, unfortunately. Just the remains of that pole. The bar pillar, that was there. The same bit that Loris smacked his hand on has now got a crossbow bolt sticking into it, and it's only about a foot. Actually, probably 2 feet off the ground. The remains of this pillar.
All right, I'm gonna get my crossbow a shake and a couple of taps. It's obviously the equipment's fault.
Yeah.
Clearly damaged. It's broken.
But then I am going to use the rest of my action to move back towards Baron because I've got something I want to discuss with him or yell to him next.
Yeah, perfect. And it's Doru's turn again underneath Loris this time, and he's just scratching out underneath Loris, trying to. It doesn't seem like he's trying to break free. He's just trying to hurt Loris. And he brings his hands up onto Loris's face, and let's see how successful that is. Actually, just doesn't. I think he reaches up and he grabs your face, but you kind of just shake it off. And
he's not careful, I'm going to bite his hand off.
And with that shake, he just sort of sinks his teeth once more, sort of close to the previous bite, and rolls a 22.
Oh, Loris loves that feeling.
So he's done. Six damage, piercing damage to you, and 3 necrotic damage. And he's also dropped. He's drinking again, and your max HP drops another 3 points.
Okay. Loris is really feeling the love, enjoying this.
And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Oh.
Oh,
How tough is this guy? He's too tough.
This guy's super tough. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's very cool. Your first look at a vampire, I guess.
he's trapped in a basement, right?
Mm.
Well, he was locked down there.
He
so-
was.
He was.
Yeah, good job, everyone.
I mean, he's pretty trapped at the
Emancipated
moment.
the vamps.
He's pretty stuck at the moment because good luck getting me off from it anytime soon.
Yeah, good luck getting Loris off.
It's not what I said.
That's going to be interesting. I'm Adam, make sure you write down somewhere what you were going to tell Baron, because
Yeah.
that's going to be where we kick off next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mental note.
Next
Tell
time
Baron I
on
like
Getting
him.
Dicey.
And tell Baron this. He has a nice hat. In the middle of a battle, hey Baron, I like your hat. I wish I had one.
Right?
Yeah,
Oh, dear.
that's cool. At least Doru isn't hungry anymore, I guess.
Nor
Every
is
clown.
Loris. Yeah, exactly.
Loris didn't eat it. He didn't swallow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've probably got a bit of the vampire blood going on in there.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to know. I need to think about what I want to do with that information. Might have to do
Last
some
thing we need is
research.
A vampire Goliath.
Yeah, that's not terrifying at all.
Vampire barbarian Goliath with a tendency to destroy shit.
Yeah. I really liked the idea of Loris just trying to crush him beneath his own weight. Like, you're kind of in darkness anyway, being mauled by this
No,
thing.
I can't see, so it's not like I can do anything finessey. My weapon's over there.
Yeah, I mean, you've
What
got
else
an
do you
axe.
do?
You've still got an axe on your back, I guess.
I still got the axe here, but doing that on something that's there is pretty tough.
You hold it out in front of you and then just bring it towards your face. Like that.
Yeah.
With you.
That thought didn't cross my mind, but biting him did.
I knew you would have thought about biting him. Yeah.
You put something that close to my face, I'm going to bite it. It's, it's just how it works.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the session? I personally very much
That
enjoyed
was
it.
awesome.
I loved the back and forth
liked it.
between Bill and Donovich.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was very cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I really liked that. It could have been very interesting, convincing him that you were going to go down and kill his son without such a good role, you know?
Yeah, I thought like my character would have probably done that, but when I saw Bill stepping up, I was like, here we go. This is like totally the guy for the
This
job.
is what Bill's for.
Oh,
Like,
it
this
was
is
really good. It was
Yeah.
really good role play. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. I was only sad that I didn't get a chance to react to it at the time, and then the moment
Oh,
passed.
sorry.
Because that was like super good.
Yeah. It sounded like I could hear it in your voice as well. It was awesome. It was really, really cool. Nice moment.
Thanks. Yeah, I was like, I just thought it would be. It's quite a painful thing for him, right? But also, if you think about if someone would rather be in the situation of their son went off and died somewhere, or their son came back and was like living basically the anti-life that they were living. Like that's much worse. Can't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
of.
That's fair.
But
It was almost a Gil becoming Bill moment again. It was one of those touching moments that he threw at us, which was quite cool.
Bill's had some great moments like that. Like American's
Yeah.
right, like Joe's right. Like the idea that like having Bill step up at a moment like that was just it was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. One of the viewers, Asnog, has said, just trying to remind me that the chill touch blocked any healing on that last bite, and I totally remembered that. So that's all good. I totally did. So yeah, so that bite on you, Loris, it may have hurt and it may have drained you a little bit, but it didn't restore any health to him.
Loris isn't thinking anything along those lines.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that obviously the Baron was aware as well that his spell did good.
Yeah, that was a cool spell, actually. Not that I think any of us would have really noticed it too much, but I assume Baron would have maybe picked up on the whole healing thing, maybe. I don't know.
I feel the amount of like missed crossbow bolts and like things is just so painful to see that just like miss. It's like
Well, it's a shit show down here in the basement, you know.
pretty much.
Poing.
Yeah. And now you've got like the majority of the creature completely blocked by Loris now anyway. So
It's just going to be a wrestling match, really, because
yeah.
if he's technically still holding on to me, right?
Well, not really holding on. He's
Oh no,
biting.
he's still scratching. Yeah, I'm just kind of lying on top of him.
Holding on with his mouth.
Yeah. So it's literally going to be a ground battle with him and me throwing punches at each other until one of us dies.
Maybe the rest of us should just leave.
It's just what Loris lives for.
Shut the trap door.
He's
Lock the
having
trap
the
door
time
and-
of his life. Just ruin it.
Loris is loving this. Yeah. If I'm not
And
up in
it's
10
like-
minutes, then I'm fucked.
There's two creatures like screaming up in hunger.
Yeah. I'll be down for that.
Except one of them is strong enough to break the hatch.
Yeah.
This church sucks already. If we burn it down, no one's really going to miss it.
Yeah, fire's probably the next best bet, I think.
What do you guys think?
Ismark's dad's upstairs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And so is Doru's dad.
It's a hell of a funeral pyre, isn't it?
Yeah, but importantly, he could move.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Is
That's
Mark's
a good
dead?
point. No, Doru's dad.
Doru's dad.
Yeah.
Father Donovich or
How
Padre.
did the
Padre.
dynamic lighting work for you guys?
That was awesome.
Looked
That
awesome.
was seriously cool.
Okay, cool.
I think we need to figure out the rules of how far people can see if they're, if they have night vision and
That's all built in.
It's all built in because I noticed a couple of times, like when I threw Lightbringer away, my vision went not completely black. I could literally see what your light was reflecting. So it tracks it up really well. It looks really cool.
Basically, I can set it, all of your individual tokens to whether or not they are emitting light, and what their viewing distance is, and whether or not they have dark vision. So with dark vision, that whole room for probably American, Bill, and Morley, they would have been able to see that entire room.
those rules are interesting if you read the dark vision things because it becomes like dim light at a certain distance.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
and
yeah. That's
it's
right.
Black and white and
Yeah.
I always think that's quite cool.
Yeah, I think it does work as dim light. I'd need
It does dim, but it doesn't do the black and white.
Yeah, it doesn't do black and white.
I think it does like a pretty good impression.
Yeah.
And I just got to take my hat off to you, Reagan. It took me a whole campaign, and I still didn't manage to get dynamic lighting working correctly.
They've put in a brand new system. Which is way easier to do. Because I like when I first started playing around with it, like 2 weeks ago, it was the old system, and I was just like, "This is hell. This is so hard to figure out." And then I was like, "Okay, I'll give it another go." And in that time, within a space of a week, they rolled out the new beta version of what we're using now. And it's way better. So the viewers, the people who are watching, are seeing an amalgamation of everyone's view. So they can they can see the Baron's light. I'm just moving it around for people now.
It's quite dramatic, isn't it?
They can see that and how it fades to darkness, but then they can also just see, like if I'm moving Bill around now, that it can just kind of see everything. Same with
that's cool because it shows the light that's emitting from Baron, and then it shows the next stage, which is dimmer from where it reaches that limit.
Yeah, and so
really cool.
Someone with dark vision, they're seeing the entire room, but they're also seeing the shadows and the darkness that like your light source is casting, Shannon. So it's kind of cool. It's a pretty cool little system.
Yeah, really.
And I can even chuck in. Let's see if I can. Is it going to let me do this?
Disco lights.
I can chuck in like
Disco light.
Oh man, now my Roll20 is not working for me, Joe. So that's fun. I can chuck in like torches and stuff that have different lighting effects and things like that as well.
That's really handy.
But I think regardless, like, thank you so much, Raiden, for the effort of like trying to make the experience better for us and for the people watching.
Yeah.
And also to the people who have supported so that we can have the pro subscription for Roll20, which obviously is how we get dynamic lighting.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good point. We basically subscribed to the pro account with Roll20, thanks to Desmarius, who donated a decent chunk to the stream that helped us. Basically, the entirety of that went to Roll20 for us to have these features for the next
Very
year.
kind of it.
Thanks, Des.
Thank you for all the puns.
Yeah, thank you so much, Des. It's a huge help.
No, not the puns.
Is amazing.
No,
Shannon's like, no more puns, please, God, no.
please give us more puns.
I only
the
wish to
puns.
encourage.
The puns make my week go better and better. Like you switch on, and in the morning there's a series of puns from Desmarius. It's just like, oh god, he's spent all night chatting about shit.
Yeah,
This is the true test. Shannon, whose puns do you prefer? Mine or Desmarius's? Because whoever you choose is not as good at puns.
Because I only choose the ones that
Because
least painful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the more painful
like
a pun, the better
two
it is.
children I don't like.
Shannon, so I've just dropped a torch into the caves now, so I'm just going to move that to the bottom left.
Does that make a sort of a...
Oh, that's cool.
Because some of the shadows fade out and some of them are just pitch black.
And that's because it's crossing over between what your light source is casting and what the torch is casting. So it's pretty cool.
Can you leave that torch in there for Lightbringer? Because that's where
Actually, that's a good point. So I'll put that exactly where Lightbringer ended up. So that's a that to do it.
Wow, that looks intense.
That's really cool how that works. I love that.
There you go. We'll put that there. That is pretty sweet. I'm pretty happy that we got that going. Anyway, so just talking about we've got a couple of extra followers as well. So thanks Green Lion and Daria Energy for giving us a follow in the just last little bit. But if you guys are watching and you like what you see, please do give us a follow because we're so close to 500. We're 477 followers now, which is super, super cool. And
you gotta
follow us.
That's my convincing argument with my +0 charisma. You gotta.
You gotta.
I roll a charisma roll. For how much you gotta.
Okay, yeah, give us a charisma roll for how much you gotta.
It's gonna work. Oh no!
Classic.
Yeah. You're just gonna
Classic
start seeing everybody
gotta.
just removing their follows now. Oh, we're back
bang, bang, bang.
and we're back down.
And
at
we're
400.
now chasing 300 follows. We only need 12 more.
Yeah.
This is why I was glad to see Bill the Bard step up to do his thing because I would have been like,
beautiful.
"Oh, we could help your son find peace," and he'd be like, "Roll of 1," and it'd be like, "He doesn't like that." He punches you in the face.
You got it.
She just walks up and she's like, "We'll kill your son. We gotta."
It's so good that your role was really good, Bill. Because had you not succeeded or had that conversation gone differently, Loris was basically going to whisper to Baron he's going to ask him which door, and he was going anyway.
That's just
Loris
Ooh,
was already
that
heading
would
there,
have been
but
real rough.
And then
Yeah,
we
it
would've
would've
just
been
closed the
really
door
messy.
behind you.
I was honestly expecting either the Baron, because he was keeping back, or Loris to kind of go into that room while the priest was distracted. That's what I was kind of anticipating.
I think I was really not sure what to do. If we should just leave, but I'm glad Bill said something, because having some yowling, screaming, hungry undead
that's not good.
under him is just we wouldn't be helpful if we just left.
Yeah, that's just letting him
Like-
torture himself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
we just
creature,
gotta not
yeah.
make it take too long. Let's just get it over and done with, and
Doing
Yeah,
then
the-
examine
this-
the corpse.
this creature's in pain. His father's in pain. One of them has to die, and
Yeah, one of them has to die.
Jesus Christ!
Loris just kills the priest and leaves.
Maybe we should have just
got
put them
it.
both in the basement.
It probably would have been
Yeah.
easier to put the priest in the basement and
Pure
let them
logic.
sort it out themselves. But
Sort it out
We've-
themselves.
Lock 'em
we've
in
got the heroic path, and we'll sort this.
Yeah.
What was that, Morley? Or Adam?
Sorry, Molly.
Lock them in a room together. And don't- they sort out their difference.
Yeah, hug it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Let
They
the
just need a
priest have the
chance
power.
to talk.
It's the priest's power of prayer that will protect them, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, someone's a convert. Yeah.
That was
one
pure
thing-
logic, though. Really.
It's like,
one of them
the
has to
jo-
die.
It's like the Joker from Dark Knight Rises, or whatever it's called, the second Batman Begins movie,
Yeah.
where he chucks two employees in a room and he's like, I've only got one position, cracks a pool cue over his knee and chucks it into them. You sort it out.
And then as he walks off, he just looks back over his shoulder. You got her.
I really hope
so
you got it
good.
comes back up. When we're,
It's not even in, like, unfortunately. Things don't even go on the podcast, so I can't bring a call back that no one's ever heard.
No, but it can now just be something
Oh, you
Merkin
got it.
says.
You
got it. Yeah. I mean, I'll do my next critical charisma fail soon, I'm sure, so I got it. I remembered to make notes this time, but all I really did was I drew Ismark, and it says a little bit of sadness in his eyes.
Oh,
That's
that's so
no.
good.
Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it?
Let's put the American filter on him. He's blushing. And he's
Oh, he is too. Okay.
Oh my god.
That's
oh
actually
my god,
pretty
you
sweet.
look like a winter.
He looks quite dreamy in your picture.
He's kind of hot. Okay,
Oh, that's
summer says
winter.
winter. What's it look like as the spring though?
Oh,
Oh no!
This is the best. This
Okay,
Is
so-
it, is it
my
is that
favourite.
just the filter commenting on how good your drawing is that it recognises it as a face, or is it just how good the filter is that it recognises anything as a face?
If
I
you've done
prefer to
that
think the first
correct,
one.
Yeah, I think the first one.
Yeah, I think the
That's where I
first
was
one.
going.
Put the Loris
That's
filter
It's
on.
the summer one.
Yeah, put the Loris filter
yeah.
on. That'd be
Put it on.
awesome.
recognises your face, Loris. It's gonna recognise that.
Oh no!
I don't have a short cut for the Loris one.
All right.
I'll do it. Just give me 1 second.
Octobos in
There
the
we
chat
go.
said that in their campaign they pretended to be the priest's deity and then persuaded him to kill his son.
Whoa, he died
That's so
trying.
cool.
Wow. Oh, that's cool with the Loris.
To be the
I love
Dicey.
that Loris filter on him. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
It's crazy.
That is awesome.
That is so good.
it's a great drawing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you guys, by the way, inadvertently, you guys made me feel real guilty about removing Scallywag, because your picture of Scallywag there reminded me of Scallywag. I felt
Yeah, I was
Scallywag-
feeling really wistful as we walked past Scallywag's house. And I was just like thinking about Scallywag, like, oh, I miss you, Scallywag.
Yeah. Scallywag would have bolted home as soon as he heard the scream anyway, so
yeah. Do you guys want like a small dog that doesn't really do much?
Well, we should go.
well,
get
Morley
some
was quite
sausages.
pleased with him.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, he's
Favourite food is
brave. He's
sausages.
braver than Morley.
I mean, if Scallywag wants to come with us at the end of this town,
Yeah.
like we won't be hurt by that.
yeah. I mean, surely being with us has got to be better than being with Mad Mary. He's likely to be locked in a room. I mean, look at that cute little puppy. Oh my goodness.
Scallywag the
The
puppa.
filter goes off on that.
And then there's this guy.
Then
I
there's
love
Ismark.
that you're
Look
filtering
at
into
that.
that. That is crazy.
Oh,
It's
Dream.
amazing.
He's so dreamy.
so funny. Such a hunk. He loves his sister. I appreciate that.
This is some sort of fanfic.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
One thing I wasn't sure if you picked up on with the whole Doru and Donovich thing was how long Doru had been locked up for. Because it
At least
was
a few
mentioned.
days.
It was mentioned.
Was
Oh, I
it?
didn't pick up on that.
Was
I
it?
didn't pick up on that. No.
It happened.
It's mentioned somewhere else.
He got turned a year ago, and has been
Okay.
in
Oh,
that
man.
basement for a year, screaming up at his father, while his
No
father has
wonder no
been
one's going
praying
to the church.
for a year to try and find a solution.
And it took a group of strangers to say,
Come in and say we're going to kill
we
him.
should probably kill this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a year.
It's like, give us 5 minutes. We got this.
That's a good thing that,
With
like-
John's role, you convinced him that the gods had answered his prayers.
That was pretty
That was
sweet.
pretty sweet.
Of the bar.
What I wasn't sure about with his prayers was because I would assume that as a like quite worldly fellow of Faerun, I would know the gods of Faerun, though I may not necessarily pray or adhere to their rules. But I have no idea about what's going on in this place. So I tried to make it quite non-denominational.
You did
And just be
learn,
like very general.
you did learn
Your
two
gods.
last week. So the two gods mentioned last week was, does Shannon remember?
Gavin.
Kevin and Beza.
It was
Yeah,
the Morning Lord and Mother Night. So those are the two names that Ismark gave you
Yes, that's
last
right.
week.
Mother night. Morning.
So I'm glad you didn't mention some random god that you were hoping to like pinpoint and made it quite vague. I think that was good.
You know, the big guy upstairs. You know who I'm
You know.
You know,
You know
like
who I'm talking about.
Hilo, the god of light.
Pelor is the worst name, eh?
Keylor.
No,
Pelor.
Pelor. Yeah,
He's a Faerunic god.
Pelord.
Pelor.
Yeah, he's the god of light. Pelord.
Pelor. There's no D.
How about instead you could say Pelor? That sounds a little bit cooler.
No,
Pelor.
I get it. The penis lord. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Lord of.
Gotta have one.
Pelaw.
Like you got it.
You gotta. Someone's gotta be.
Tia and Torm are also good gods.
Good God.
And Gal. He's bloody good. He's my.
And
Gal. Gal is the
Bahamut
who's
is
Gal?
a
Gal is the gnome god of.
Ah,
the
that's
main
Oh
gnome
yeah,
god.
Gal's a gnomish god. He's cool.
Gal Golden. Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a
Yeah.
trickery. Makes jokes.
Sure. Why not?
You used him in the text D&D, eh? You had a character
I
that
was
was
a
like,
cleric. And
that's
I would
right.
pray to
You were the little
Gal
cleric. It was
all
awesome.
the time.
yeah. Cool. All right, let's call it there. Thanks again to everyone who's followed us tonight. It means a huge amount to us. You can check out all of our previous sessions either on YouTube or here on Twitch or in podcast format. They're pretty much all up to date. It will be in about an hour and a half's time in podcast form. So check us out there. We've got a Discord that you can come and chat. There's a link below the stream, or you can type !Discord and get a direct link to it. And there's some merch underneath there as well of the most recent shirts, which are incredibly cool, designed by Joe, and the Ravenloft style Getting Dicey logo by Baron over here as well for one of the shirts. They look fantastic. And if you want to show a little bit of support, you can subscribe to us. If you've got Amazon Prime, then you have Twitch Prime. And if you have Twitch Prime, you get one free subscription a month to anyone. So it doesn't even have to cost you a thing. You just throw that our way, and any of that cash would be going towards making this stream even better. Just like we have for this session with the Pro Roll20 account to make sure that dynamic lighting is up and running. So
And
thanks.
again, you gotta.
You gotta.
You
That's
gotta.
the other thing. Is,
You gotta.
You just gotta.
and you gotta. And you get a little dance
You
as
gotta.
well. So thanks to everybody for watching, and a big special thanks to all of the subscribers who are watching as well. And we'll see you at the same time next time.
Bye.
See you, everybody. And
Bye.
kisses.